Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at the winner bracket finals for now, and once again, I am Hungry Cass, and alongside me is Spoots. We will be bringing you all the action for the last best of three for today. To recap the series of events that led us here, Lannisters did just beat Winter in a best of one in the lower bracket finals to make it here, and of course, Team WoW, which is their current opponents, played the upper bracket all the way in, and they managed to have a really good successful run, which is also how they ended up here. The winner of this, of course, the stakes are placed at FSL Elite on the 8th and 9th of March, which will be held in Singapore, as well as a chance to vie for $2,000 in terms of prize pool, and of course, all expenses paid trip to come here and compete, which is not the first time we're running this. FSL Elite is in its third season, whatever you want to call it, and we've added a couple more titles to this as well, so it's going to be super exciting. Free up your calendars, do mark it down, but for now, let's look at the picks and bans for Game 1.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the way that WoW got here, they beat Lannisters in their previous game with pretty good macro, and what I'm interested to see right now is whether or not Lannisters learn their lesson, whether or not they're gonna have brushed up their macro in the preparation time beforehand, and whether or not we're gonna see something changed up this time.
I like that they ban out Misfortune on the red side. They bait out the Jarvan pick so that Bubby can play Poppy, and as we all know, the interaction between Poppy and Jarvan is quite unique. You deny ganks by using the Steadfast Presence if they decide to force. With EQ, you can put the W up and it just blocks anyone from dashing in or out, right? So it's also one of Bubby's sort of like pocket jungle picks alongside the Kayn, so she's very comfortable on this. Meanwhile, they've also got the Braum, so they have very good control in terms of keeping the backline safe, as well as space and area denial. Polikaton locking in the Orianna for her mid laner, which is quite an okay open pick if you ask me. It's very flexible depending on how you want to play the matchup. But for now, though, we do note that Mordekaiser is still open, and so is Aphelios.
Yep, one more thing that is open is Kirsty's Lux again. And we've seen her play it in Orianna, so we might actually see that again. And the thing about Kirsty's Lux, she misses skill shots so rarely.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're playing against this Lux, you just have to be very aware that, hey, that skill shot is probably going to hit you unless you dodge very, very well.
We'll lock in the Nautilus as the last pick. Knowing that it's going to be a mid lane Orianna, Kirsty immediately locks in the Zoe. And just to remind you, in the previous game, the Zoe was banned against Lannister, so this is the first time I think we're seeing Zoe being picked up by Kirsty. Moving on to the second ban phase, the focus now might just be on the bot laners, considering that both teams have sort of picked their supports, right? They've committed to what they want to use for the bot lane supports. Instead, will be the Ornn banned out on the top lane for Lannisters.
Okay, so we are banning away the top laner for the side of Lannister. That signals to me that they want to get a good top lane carry champion again. Especially if you're taking away all these
definitely
tanks.
Looking for a good matchup, especially on the red side. You can save last pick for top lane to get the best optimal matchup you can look for. Annie is as a player, we've seen her pop off the previous game on Aatrox. She didn't really need any help in lane.
Yeah.
All she needed to do was show up in fights and snowball herself by mastery of her individual champion. The previous game she was playing on Aatrox. Moment she arrived, pop more ender, go in, right?
Yeah, keep in mind Aatrox is actually banned this time, so we're not going to see that carry performance again. Might pull out a different champion this time, who knows, but on the other side of the coin, WoW is banning away 80 carries. That's Aphelios gone. It's a very strong pick. Taken off the board.
3 carries in the top lane. 3 top lane bans being expanded and 2 tanks from Lannister. This does tell me that they might want to play a bit of a carry in the top lane, so possibly Aurelia is still open. They might look to go for that. Aurelia, of course, not really the optimal champion to play into tanks, so by removing both Sion as well as Ornn, you have the opportunity to play top lane Aurelia. Otherwise, Mordekaiser works as well.
Yep,
and now they're saving the last pick for 80 carry.
Yep, counter picking 80 carry. Interesting. Well, if you already have the Braum, it's probably going to be a defensive sort of lane. Misfortune is gone, so you don't have that option anymore.
You do Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's great here. The problem with Kai'Sa is you don't have as many people to proc the plasma stacks as you want. Into Darius, though, Mordekaiser actually deals pretty well depending on how you play the matchup. Of course, it's all about spacing. Yeah.
Don't want to get hooked in by the Darius. Darius, obviously, it's going to be a lane bully.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit more about it as we approach that. But to theorize about the bot lane picks right now, of course, WoW has to show their hand first. And combined with the Nautilus, this is the composition you should actually play Kai'Sa into, but instead will be the Sivir. Seeing the Sivir on WoW side now, actually could do Kai'Sa and do pretty well into this matchup.
Yeah, the fact that you do have the Sivir now, though, it means that you are going to play a bit of an engage. You want to go in. That's you're going to speed everybody up, you're
Right.
going to run at the enemy, and that's going to be Lucian Braum. I don't really like that. It's not...
It's a good kill lane, but you can't
Alright.
team fight well because of your range. So you're gonna get spaced out by not just the Sivir but also the Orianna, right? When it comes to like team fighting, you can't really walk in safely until Shockwave is down, until Darius gets kited out, because the moment you move in too close, they will look to capitalize on your short range. So it's a good lane pick. Don't get me wrong. Team fighting is very, very tricky for Lucian.
Yeah, I mean, against Sivir in the lane, sure. Sivir has short range, so do you, so that's a bit equalized. But once you get, again, into the team fights, the fact that Sivir is able to pump out so much damage, just standing in the back line,
and
you're not going to get her.
Ricochet, literally, you buy Essence Reaver, you get crit items, you stand in the back, just throw Ricochet. Just by nature of it bouncing to people, you do a lot of just collateral residual damage from people standing near to each other.
Again, when Lucian is in the game, we have to point out that he has to get a hit.
Yeah.
He has to get a hit very early. And with Braum, I don't think that's the best facilitator. Well, no, you have Leona Band and Nautilus's pick, so I guess Braum is the third choice. Sort of okay.
Yeah.
Like you said, good kill lane.
Definitely not one to turn your nose up at. This bot lane actually pretty good at applying the Winter's Bite. The only difference is that Poppy in this sort of matchup, compared to the Jarvan she was picking up before, you don't force ganks as much. You come down to the bot lane to cover. So when I say cover, it means that you stacked out a big wave, you're pushing in, and you are susceptible to getting ganked. The jungler then comes to the bot lane to counter gank if you get forced on. In this matchup, 3v3, Jarvan, Sivir, Nautilus versus Poppy, Lucian, Braum, it's the latter that has the advantage because you deny the knockup with Steadfast Presence. Once the EQ combo is down for Jarvan, you just turn around and kill him.
This is an interesting thing, though. Again, we take a look at WoW's team composition.
Right.
They want to run and use this engaged comp. But again, the way you beat Lannister was by playing good macro.
Right.
And now that if you're going to, pick this sort of composition and run at them in a team fight way, I don't think that is optimal. But I guess this is the first game, so if you're testing the waters, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Picking up Cleanse, though, on this Orianna is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if there's actually much value apart from cleansing the Sleepy Trouble Bubble from Zoe. Of course, Mordekaiser is going to still present that threat with the Death Realm, so you could cleanse that as well. But overall, it is a summoner spell that's only catered towards two particular CC spells that you're looking to counter. So maybe not maximum value here coming in from Orianna.
Definitely. Well, the player I want to look at now though is Sbubby and Poppy, because honestly the reason I started playing Poppy jungle is because of watching Sbubby.
Right.
And she is just super good on this champion. Now she's going into Jarvan 4 again, like you said, baited out the Jarvan pick. I want to see what she's able to make happen on the map. She definitely is going to be able to. Poppy has a lot of good damage early, and if she does manage to snowball down this bot lane, especially in the first few minutes, I think this is something that she can revisit over and over again and just snowball this Lucian ahead.
I would wager that she's going for a Cinderhawk build. The keystone, though, is still up in the air because traditionally you see Sbubby go for the Electrocute, if my memory serves me right. But there is still a window for you to go for Conqueror here if you are going for Cinderhawk. So more sustained damage over time when you want to do these trades and take these long-term fights, as it were. Definitely more value in the Conqueror as opposed to Electrocute.
Definitely. Well, the rest of the map, I don't think we really have much to talk about. I mean, Zoe, Orianna... I would favor the Orianna for the first part of the game until we get into loosening up the map, taking first turret. Maybe Zoe's allowed to roam a little bit more. And
Orianna is one of those champions where you look at lane and you look at outside of lane, right? Lane, she's like 95 upon 100. If you know how to play, you know how to use the champion properly, 95 100. You won't lose any matchup. Just by nature of your range and your control, you won't lose, right? You at most go even. Outside of lane though is a problem because you can't walk out without Zoe sniping you with a Sleepy Trouble Bubble. You need perfect vision around the area. That's where the jungler comes into play. If you're going to track out of your lane into bot lane, that whole river path must be warded by your team. You can't walk out completely blind and expect to be safe, right? Compared to Zoe, where you have a bit more freedom because of the CC on demand that you have, as well as the ability to jump over walls first, to put wards down. The mobility helps a lot more. The CC helps a lot more. And you don't have to fully commit into roaming out of lane as long as you can get the angles for a Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
And again, it all comes down to the junglers, right? It all comes down who's able to break open the map first. Because I think once that mid lane is broken, Orianna falls significantly behind, like we were talking about. Especially the threat that Zoe does bring when she's allowed to roam. And especially if you don't have good vision, right? She's just going to Sleepy Trouble Bubble you from miles away, and there's nothing much you can do about it if it hits.
I don't know if you guys... Okay, actually, can we bring up the loading screen? Because right now, on your screen, Spubby went for Omni Stone, which is like a mind blown. Like, who takes that keystone? I don't even understand.
Hit.
That is like, if you pick that keystone in my game, you're inting. So, either Spubby knows something I don't, or this is like an experimental thing that she's trying out.
I mean, new season changes, I'm not very familiar with, I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of weird because for you to fully utilize Omni Stone, you really need to consistently proc in on enemies, right? So it should indicate to us that Spubby's going to be fighting a lot.
Yeah.
There is no good keystone that allows you to just, apart from Fleet Footwork, that allows you to just play PvE.
I don't know, man. I prefer Electrocute, but you
Yeah,
know, we'll see how it
Electrocute or
goes.
Conqueror. I mean, I'm gonna like PM her after this game. Like, what is up with Omni Stone? Can you explain the logic to me? Because to me, that keystone is just bad. Like, it's an inting keystone.
Yeah.
Do you know that there's this bug with Omni Stone where if you take magical footwear, the game tracks you as having bought boots, and you can get Predator on Omni Stone without having boots, and it's so bugged out. Like, don't even bother taking the keystone.
Fix your code, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
okay.
bad, man. Omni Stone is bad.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know. I'm not even 100% sure what it does.
So, see, color casters nowadays on stream.
Look,
Come on,
listen,
guys.
it's new. I'm rusty on League, and the
See,
thing.
that's not an excuse. After this
That's
this cast, I'm gonna send Spoots to the gulags to
Oh
go
god,
and brush up.
nobody takes Omni Stone lately.
Yeah, no, there's no point because you get a randomized keystone every couple of seconds. I think the cooldown is 45 seconds if you don't proc it. But essentially, you have to activate it, right? And oh, hold on. I'm gonna hold on to my point here as Jarvan is gonna be walking in. Might just get caught out by the Braum. Actually, proccing the
man.
winner's bite already. See you later, buddy. And the first blood going the way of Kirsty as well. That is gonna suck. You know why? Because she can buy a instant Dark Seal now, and she will never lose lane.
I'm not exactly sure what Jarvan's trying to do there.
She just threw an E in, right?
Yeah, if you want to ward to reward it, even put an E in it, like you said. But the pathing that she was trying to go for there, I'm not exactly what the aim was.
So Spubby already procced the Arcane Comet. Now it's looking at Dark Harvest, and good luck proccing that, buddy. It's one of those weird keystones where you have to interact with enemies, and the only good point is as Dark Harvest stacks increase, the potency of your other keystones get better. So, for example, if you get 3 stacks on Dark Harvest, Fleet Footwork heals for a bit more, Electrocute does a bit more damage in addition to when you level up as well. So it kind of accrues over time. And now it's changed. Now it is Glacial Augment.
Alright, we're gonna see both junglers just sort of split the map right now as we see a pause come in. But yeah, it looks actually pretty standard. We do see wards coming in, obviously advantage over to WoW because they got the ward deeper into the Raptor camp.
Yep. Whether Spubby walks past it, though, remains to be seen, although I have a sneaking suspicion that she will walk over once she's level 2 and do the Raptors with a Q. So that ward should pay off post-haste. Here's some typing and pause coming through soon as well, I believe.
Hopefully. Well, we actually can't see chat here, can we?
It's okay.
Alright, well.
I'm curious where Spubby's gonna path to in the end of her route, because there is the ability for you to go top and just like take the fight against Darius, right?
Yeah.
This top lane is always gonna be pushing out. And if Annie can manage the wave properly, she could actually go after level 2, clearing the top half. There is no reason, like I said, to full commit bot lane unless you are covering a wave that's pushed up. So the jungler and bot lanes should have this level of communication where you're saying, oh, I have a big wave stack, it's going to be pushing, you need to come down and cover me and help me get a reset. So you push together as 3 members to get a reset. Otherwise, you just sit there and wait for the gank, which might or might not come.
Yeah, and like we were talking about Champions Select, right? This is the point where Poppy has the most damage. She has a lot of damage she can use, especially in this early game. And if she's going to pressure a lane, this is when she's going to do it. And like you said, Darius is the one who should be pushing up the lane right now. And one thing about Poppy is she actually can do a level 2 gank.
As long as she lands the CC, she should be fine. But yeah, you can see now on the top side, the wave is actually accrued. So pan over to the wave, you can see it's pushing just by the amount of ranged minions that's been stacked up, right? So over time, as well as the bleed ticking down, it will be pushing up. So that's an option. You can look to force that with Spubby on the top side with Red Buff if you want. Otherwise, you can just move down. Grasp of Aftershock now is the next keystone. And the ward there actually was spotted, but there were no pings down, so I'm not sure if Spubby was actually spotted.
Yeah, just spotted for a split second. I think by the time she finishes the Raptors, she will still continue to be spotted as she walks out.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, definitely spotted.
Okay, so there are no pings, but they should have full information of this. Yeah, there you go. Meanwhile, Polikaton moving to top side will get level 3. Remember I was talking about this? Buff Grom gives you level 3. Meanwhile, trades on the top side level 3. For the Darius, pooling or apprehending in Annie.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is that, you know, the Darius is pushing, you're not really going to go get any sort of advantage up there. I think it's just a little too early for the Scuttle as well, so losing a bit of tempo as she's forced to double back and go for the Wolves.
Mid lane, meanwhile, Christy did find some counterfeit summer spells there, I believe, and was able to poke out the Orianna. I'm not even going to bother saying her name because it's a jumble of letters, so we will just refer to her as Orianna.
Yeah.
Pro tip, if you guys want casters to say your names, don't get names like that.
Yeah.
See, Spubby, easy to say.
Yeah. Right. We are going to see both junglers, I think, contest towards this bottom side Scuttle Crab once they are done with their current camps. Spubby's going to be the one who gets to it first, though, so should be going over now.
Also, important to note that Friend and Diglett have the push prio here, so they are past the river, which means that Polikaton has no choice but to concede this Scuttle Crab. If she gets spotted out here, though, it's going to be a problem because Zoe is in the area. She has the proto belt. She might just be able to get in range for the Sleepy Trouble bubble.
Yeah, nice flag and drag will just get it out of the dodge for now.
Good ward there will spot when the camp respawns. Meanwhile, Christy looking for the Sleepy Trouble bubble. Actually, good damage down, proccing the Electrocute as well. Proto belt helping her out in that endeavor. Hits the cannon minion. 2 thumbs up, no problem whatsoever. Looking for another Paddle Star in. Barely missing though.
Yeah, think about Zoe in this patch. Hey, you don't actually need to hit all your skill shots for deal damage. Oh.
Pulled in. Braum now taking a lot of damage. They're looking for the winner's bite proc, but not really able to find it. And I was about to say, you know, we saw for a split second there, Zoe threw a ward over the wall. It's a habit that a lot of mid laners have, but a bit unnecessary because you can see there's literally 2 wards next to each other, right? That is a bit of a double effort. Yeah, that's it. It's a mid laner habit. It's like, oh, I'm pushing up this far. I don't know if there's anyone in that pit.
I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
Right, Dragon is going to spawn. That's going to be a first of our game. 5 minutes in. It's going to be Cloud Drake. Not exactly the most to be prioritized, but...
like, Zoe doesn't want Cloud at all, right? So if you're looking at compositions-wise, the only team that hard-pressed Die really needs the Cloud Drake, it's going to be Team WoW here, because you want it for the Shockwave, you want it for On the Hunt, you want it for Depth Charge, all these big-ticket ultimates.
Top Scholar will go to Jarvan, so that neutralizes the XP advantage that Poppy would have. For now,
she is still 2 camps ahead. So right now is 1 camp ahead. She will find Jarvan here, and she has pressed the attack, which is kind of awkward. Not sure how she's really gonna make use of that one. I feel like I'm gambling with these keystones, the Omnistone keystones, because every time I see, I'm like, okay, what's gonna come up next?
It's a loot box in the game. Now she has Electrocute.
All right, this is the perfect one, but
she's spotted on the ward.
Spotted on the ward.
Feels bad, man.
Meanwhile, Winner's Bite being procced on top of the Nautilus. Has to be careful about the range because the pullback in might make things very sticky. They're jumping onto the backline. Actually, preemptive heal coming from Friend. The Ignite down as well. Kiting back and forth, finding the first kill on the Nautilus. They might find the second here as the flash comes through. But a great Winner's Bite actually procs on top of the Sivir. And that's a kill again. Diglett gets the kill credit. 1-1 apiece. This bot laners are popping off.
Yeah, there was a pretty messy skirmish, not gonna lie. But we do burn the summer spells on both carries actually. So this is gonna be a very gankable lane come for both junglers.
Yeah. Remember that there is no real combat advantage in terms of what Fleet Footwork brings. You get lots to stay in the lane, but you can't really take these head-on fights. Whereas Lucian, auto Q, auto. That's press the attack proc, right? That's when you can take the fight regardless of how tanky they are. And they understood their limits, they played it well. It's an easy 2v2 kill picked up by the bot lane of Lannister.
Yeah, just a bit of a small advantage now for Lucian. Braum definitely going to have to snowball it much harder if they want to have a successful mid-late game. For now, it's not very sizable, but it'll have to do.
Oof, Sleepy Trouble Bubble narrowly missing. Not particularly sure if I like the early Bilgewater Cutlass buy. I would have liked to see Essence Reaver being picked up. In this case, though, should suffice still. Diglett roaming up to the mid lane, setting up the play. Was not spotted on the way up, though. The wave is going to be pushing. And Sleepy Trouble Bubble once again not landing for Christy.
This Sleepy Trouble Bubbles hitbox is so weird. Can't tell if he's going to hit or not. Right, looks like they are going to set up slightly towards that dragon. No deep wards yet for either side, but you can see that a lot of the river control is going to the way of Lannister.
You say that there are wards already being put down right now along the bottom half of the river. Great shockwave actually pulls in too. There's an ignite though available. Dredge line will pull Spubby in, and remember she has no real keystone to speak of, so she is going to take down. Glacial Augment is the next one, and the ignite will give Nautilus the kill over. Spubby will fall for the first time this game.
Yeah, Russ a little over greedy trying to fight for that control ward in the mid lane. Both teams actually clear the other team's ward, and that shockwave I think was pretty good.
Yeah. Managed to catch two members, immobilize them by space for Nautilus to come in. But right now this bot wave is frozen, and there is an opportunity for them to go all in. Remember, level 6 advantage belonging to both Diglett and Friend. They can force this if they want to. They're waiting for Sivir to be a bit greedy and step forward.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna step forward. As the first time you give a kill over the Lucian, you know, okay, I'm not gonna give him anymore. I'm gonna sit back. I'm not gonna try anything too difficult. You can see Diglett's already trying to pressure it. They really want this level 6 engage.
They've suddenly changed the pattern up. They are pushing the wave out, and I think the call here is actually from Spubby to secure the Cloud Dragon, because they immediately know that the freeze is broken, so they now push up. They stack 1.5 waves. Should be able to claim the Cloud Dragon here as pings go down on the Rift Herald. So mutual trades coming across, I guess.
Yeah, with Darius pushing up with priority at top lane, it's just going to be a trade of objectives, like you said. Cloud Dragon to Lannister, not exactly the optimal dragon.
Right.
And giving Rift Herald over to WoW just allows them to knock over the map slightly quicker.
We'll see if they can snowball this advantage, like we were saying. Some teams not as adept as using Rift Herald to snowball their leads, whereas others are great. We saw Lannister, Spubby in particular, fully utilize the power of the Rift Herald. I myself am horrible at using Rift Herald. I just pop it down, it gets a charge, and like it's done.
Hey, just get it before 14 minutes, you get a bunch of gold on the tower. That's all you need to do.
9.5 minutes now. They could pop it to get some turret plates and still get it once more before the Baron spawns. So there's a window for a double Rift Herald play.
Alright, right now we are going to see a sort of vision trade actually. You can see that WoW is actually pushing their vision line. 3 control wards at the top side.
Right.
While Lannister has about 4 in the bot side. So they're each playing towards the stronger side of the map, and yeah, we should be able to differentiate who's gonna get which objective later on.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble in the mid lane. Protobelt is available. She will use it to chunk out the Orianna, but flashing away from the shockwave. That's an actual flash, by the way. She goes in once more with her own ignite. Might just take down here. Command Protect, not up in time. And that's the play coming from Christie. A great solo kill as well. Predator was used by Spubby to arrive in the mid lane. Can't really get anything off this, so she's just going to walk around and clear vision out.
That was a pretty good dodge with the flash of the shockwave. Going in was pretty ballsy, not gonna lie. But she does manage to pick up the kill with the ignite, so all in all, it's pretty worth.
2-0-0, already getting the Luden's Echo, so that means super available wave clear if she needs it.
Spubby, what are you doing?
Sitting off inside the jungle. Polycaton sitting in the Tribrush as well. Small window for both Nautilus and Sivir to force this if they want to. They have On the Hunt. They're just waiting for both Diglett and Friend to overextend. Might just pull the trigger here with the Dredge line.
Ooh, it's getting tense here. Polycaton has been standing here for quite a while, but
Yeah.
Spubby is actually bounding back for that risk couple. I think she's just going to move up. Oh, they're going to go in?
They're going in, depth charge on top of the Lucian, using the Relentless Pursuit and flash out. She's on the backline alone and inside the Cataclysm, stuck inside, using the culling now as well to chunk out members of the opposing side. They managed to get out safe. Here comes the counter teleport though. Adney is going to arrive soon, and soon off the back it's going to be Christie that comes in. Death Realm on top of the Sivir. I don't think she's long for this. Well, meanwhile, a great stopwatch from Spubby to buy some space. The first kill is going to go the way of the Mordekaiser, and meanwhile it's going to go 2 across as well. Darius arriving, actually doing a lot of damage. It's very messy, but they find out all the kills here. Adney is the last member standing. The teleport from the Darius actually doing a lot of work here.
Oh man, that's quite a decisive win coming in from WoW. I don't know what Lannister was trying to do. Could have disengaged instead of teleporting and committing, but instead they give quite a large advantage over to the opponents. They're going to get a ton of gold, not only from that fight, but taking all these turret platings as well.
Yeah, Shockwave was not even used in that fight. It was mostly the Darius damage, you know, coming through from just the Qs, as well as the bleed.
The unfortunate thing about all of that is now that your main carry is going to be, what, Nautilus with a 3-1 and 3?
Oh, yeah, doesn't help that Nautilus got most of the kills. I have to admit, but did allow her to pick up a couple of items here. Looking at the gold differential, 600 in favor of the Nautilus, support versus support.
It's about 1k in the jungle though, so Jarvan is going to be doing significantly more damage than Poppy can defend herself from.
Yeah, I think Jarvan's getting to that point now with Conqueror as well. Cinderhawk, very scary. You see a Knight's Vow picked up by the Nautilus to keep Silver safe. All in all though, very tricky for Lannisters if they want to regain control of this Dragon Pit. The next one coming up though. Oh, hold on. Roam coming in the mid lane. They're actually looking for a play onto Orianna. You can see both Lucian as well as Brahma walking up. Maybe they do just one Scuttle Crab to secure bot lane river and then back off.
Yeah, I like that they're, once they lost, they knew that they lost control of this bot side vision, so they are actually just going in and trying to get it back as soon as possible instead of just leaving it there. Because as you can see, WoW, they still have, WoW still has
Team WoW.
Team WoW still has, oh my god, this is confusing.
Yeah.
They still have full control over the top side, right? Well, they had. I think one controller just got destroyed. But now Lannister, they have to continue fighting for bot lane dominance.
They saw the recall coming through from the Nautilus, so they know they have a bit more time and space here to push out. The next dragon coming up is going to be Ocean in about 25 seconds. They're looking to clear the wards out, but this is a precarious position because Diglett has found a Jarvan. Thankfully, Nautilus nowhere near this area means that they will not be able to secure this kill. They can't make a play for it.
Yep, Nautilus is now back though. It's going to be full strength, and the vision control around the Dragon Pit right now is actually pretty 50-50. Both teams sort of have vision over the other if they decide to go for the Dragon, so not much that either team can really do without starting a fight.
Oh, pulled back in, already proccing the passive though on Atney. You can tell the Darius player is not very keen on trading once the passive is up.
Yeah, you don't really want to fight once Mordekaiser has the passive. It's gonna, just walks up to you and whacks you a couple times.
Going for the full armor build instead. It's the Ninja Tabies and the Zhonya's Hourglass first pick for Atney, so her main priority right now is staying alive in lane, trying her best to not get caught by the Darius damage. Perhaps we will see a Liandry's Torment into a Rylai's Crystal Scepter next, but for now, survivability is the name of the game.
I like they're trying to snowball Kirsty on the Zoe right now, giving it the blue buff even. I think one of the main ways that they win now is by playing through Kirsty. I mean, she's had an amazing showing in the previous game.
Right.
And I think she's been doing pretty good with these skill shots. Sleepy Trouble Bubbles notwithstanding. So if she's able to continue to pump up this consistent damage that we've come to expect from her, I think that is the main avenue of which you're going to win this game.
Yeah, we see both bot laners actually completing their core items, so it's going to be Essence Reaver for the Sivern, no surprise there. And the Blade of the Ring King for the Lucian. I was expecting Essence Reaver, but hold on. Mid lane Shockwave coming in. Actually, a lot of damage down already onto the Orianna. Wall Slam in. Here comes the Cataclysm as well. They're trading against the mid laners. The aggression coming through. A great Shane of CC. Might just find a kill here. It's going to be Diglett that gets it. Meanwhile, here comes the Death Charge pulling Spubby back in. They're looking for the damage with the Paddle Stars, but it's not enough to really guarantee anything. Kirsty looking like she wants to go in for more. We'll find the Chilling Smite, or at least the counterfeit Chilling Smite here.
Yeah, that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade of the junglers, and it's just getting more and more unfortunate because the Nautilus is the one that's picking up all of these kills. 4 and 3. That's not who you want your gold on, guys.
Kirsty still posturing aggressively in the mid lane, not allowing Orianna to base, and because she does have that counterfeit flash, she is playing super aggressively, moving forward, trying to gain vision for her team. Scuttle Crab was taken by Sivir and all is there.
Yeah, now WoW is the one with vision control over Dragon Pit, and Lannister, they have to continue to, keep at it, fighting for vision control over this objective, because you don't really want to lose all of these dragons, especially to a macro-centric team like WoW has shown themselves to be.
Recalls coming in, looking for the next set of buys. Both junglers actually completing their Cinderhawks a while ago and now looking for the next set of items. It's going to be the Black Cleaver, I believe, for Jarvan holding onto that Kindle Gem, whereas Swabby doesn't really have much in the way of gold. Her economy has been in shambles after dying quite a few times this game.
This Prina Fortress 0-3 and 2, we've seen her praises before in Champion Select, but she hasn't been able to find all those engages that she's been known for.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's the Omni Stone. The Omni Stone is the tilter.
This is just the bad luck, or
it's just the bad rolls on the Omni Stone.
Oh man.
To be fair, I feel like that rune is just horrible in general, right? Like, there's no reason to take it over something like Aftershock.
That's fair. Right. We're gonna see Both teams actually grouping up as 4 towards the bottom side. Not sure if they're going to go for a gank or if they're going to try to contest Dragon. Orianna actually being sent to clear back the wave.
There is a Poppy sitting on the back of the Zoe like you mentioned, which presents quite a bit of danger because if you can lock them down to Sleepy Trouble Bubble, there's really no way out for them in these fights.
Yeah. Right. Not actually sure what they're trying to do here. I mean, they've shown that they were moving up towards the jungle, but he's still standing in the tri-brush, so a bit of a interesting maneuver.
The reason why they're so hesitant, you have to think, is because missing the can.
F.
The reason why they're so hesitant, you have to think, is because they aren't sure what their mutual others' power level is at yet.
Yeah.
They haven't really tested it, so right now they're just hovering. They're waiting for a play to be made. Both bot laners actually not really moving over to the dragon. It might just be snuck away here, finally making the calls to come in. It's a bit too late. Fight might break out, though. Sleepy Trouble Bubble coming into zone, and it's going to land on the Knowledge. Unbreakable being thrown up. Look at that chunk on the backline. They might just find a kill on top of the Knowledge, but meanwhile, the heal being used. Here comes Poppy using the Keeper's Verdict to knock everyone back. Spubby finding the kill on Polikaton, and now they're moving over onto the Orianna, who's actually chunking the Braum out pretty well. Winner's Bite finally being procced here as the cleanse was used proactively, and that's going to be a kill for Christie as well. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Zonya's too little, too late for Adney. The dunk came through, Zonya's after, and now she's going to die.
Crucially though, the Darius teleport was actually cancelled by the Mordekaiser, which meant that Darius was stuck at top and instead not on the back line in the bottom fight. If that teleport had continued, I think Lannister would have definitely lost at least 4 members there.
And the upside is that Annie still has her own teleport, so there is a window for her to exploit that. But this top tier one is probably going to go down here.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a chunk of gold going over to Darius, right? She is pretty fat. Let's do 1 and 3 with a full tower under her belt. So you have to shut this Darius down before she becomes a big menace in the upcoming team fights.
Full rotations coming through. Christie looking for the Darius, perhaps cheekily recalling inside the brush, but not really finding anything there. She will pick up the counterfeit proto belt.
Right, we're gonna see a lane swap come through again, but you know, you don't have time to take the Rift Herald now. The Baron is actually spawning, and you don't have damage to take that either.
They spend too much time milling about in the bot lane, so they missed the 15-minute Rift Herald window, right? So only when they started the Dragon around 18.5 minutes was a bit too little, too late for them to pick up the Rift Herald.
This game feels like it's shorter than it has been. I think we've spent a fair chunk of it actually in that dance in the bot side. So where we go from here is actually going to be towards, you know, Sivir's spikes, because again, 116 on Lucian, you're not going to be doing too much. Thankfully, all the kills that WoW have gotten are now
centered on the Nautilus.
Yeah, on the Nautilus instead of the Sivir. So Sivir still has a long way to go before she gets her main items, but it's still going to come.
Not to forget, the damage profile of Lannisters is 2 AP solo laners and a Lucian who, ostensibly, like we talked about, cannot really get into fights safely.
Yeah.
Magic resistance is going to come out soon once the lock is complete, and we will have another issue with dealing reliable damage in these fights.
Certainly. Meanwhile, we are going to see a bit of an engage towards the bot side.
Oop, Sleepy Trouble Bubble not landing. Bleeding out though, Annie.
She's got to start landing those Sleepy Trouble Bubbles. I know the hitbox is a bit weird, but it is starting to become quite apparent that she's not landing all of them. She's not having as good a performance as she did on Lux.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's slightly detrimental, especially when your Lucian is not exactly popping off.
Yeah, has to fish for those Sleepy Trouble Bubble picks like you mentioned, otherwise it's going to continue being a stalemate here. She rotated to bot lane, moved back to mid to get some vision down inside the jungle. You can see a ward behind Raptors. Still, it's the classic example. Wave clear, back off, wave clear, back off. Buy space for her team. But like we said, the damage profile is not optimal for Lannisters. As the game goes on, it will be tricky to deal reliable damage.
I like how evenly matched these teams are. It's about 1k right now. I think in the previous game it was also about 1k at this stage. So it's gonna come down to wire really. Who's gonna have the late game decision making to really secure the win for their team?
See a BF sword as well as a Confused Warhammer being completed by Lucian. Looking to perhaps move into the Essence Reaver range. Oh, Christie looking for a bit. Landing the Sleepy Trouble Bubble though does have the Ignite. Whoa, find the solo kill. Cleanse a little too late coming in for the Orianna. You talked about having to hit the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Right there, perfection.
Absolutely got deleted. 403 on this Zoe. He's going to be doing a ton of damage. Well, as if she's not doing a ton of damage already, but it's just going to continue multiplying at this point, and at some point that Sivir's going to be in real danger if she pops Spell Shield early.
They're fishing for a Nautilus pick here. This is a pincer that they could have pulled the trigger on, but opted not to do so. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser having to retreat away. Doesn't want to stay under this turret. Instead, will concede the structure.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, this Darius is the strong point, right? This is who you're going to win through. So allowing yourself to allowing your team to funnel so much gold into the Darius really just accelerates the growth at which she is going to be very disruptive in the upcoming team fights.
There's a small window for them to make a teleport play like we talked about. Adney still has hers, whereas a Darius player did expand her own. So there's an advantage for now, but it's going to cool off in about slightly less than a minute, which reduces the advantage. That window that you could exploit, gone.
Absolutely. If they want to make something happen, they should have made it much earlier. But now the dragon is spawning again. Teleport should be up by the time any sort of attempt goes for it. But it's very down here, so.
Let me give you a free tip on how to exploit teleport advantages.
Sure.
You see your team having the teleport advantage, opponents doesn't. Send your teleport. Oh, hold on. Send a person to teleport to the furthest lane, and then just mill about. Just waste time, right?
Yep.
Either they get lane advantage, or you teleport in and you win the 5v5.
Alright, they're actually gonna start up the dragon here, but it's gonna be quite a big fight. Orianna is on the back. They're going in. Oh,
Banshees fail. Still pretty decent, hitting the Sleepy Trouble bubble once more, coming in. The steal not really in effect though as they take this fight. Oh my goodness, the Mordekaiser in the center of on the backline though, very low on health. The Jarvan is the first to fall. The second might just be the Sivir who has to flash out. The Ignite still ticking in the center. Mordekaiser is dealing so much damage. I'm not sure if Darius can get the resets though as they're cutting him around, and in the end they will find all the kills that they need. It's going to be 4 members picked up. Sivir flashing away and healing, kept her alive. Could have been an ace, but thank goodness Lannister's team fought magnificently.
Yeah, Lannisters, they absolutely do come out on team fight. It's all thanks to their ability to stack as one unit and continue, continue delegating who they have to hit. If you took a look at a team fight, WoW was actually spread out across the river, and you're not going to be able to concentrate your damage that way.
They were so worried about walking into the Sleepy Trouble bubble that, the Zoe was consistently just zoning them away.
Yeah. So, like, spread out, you can call in team chat, but you don't understand when you're spread out, you can't really focus anyone down. You're not really doing a lot of damage to a specific target. And when you're doing that and your enemy isn't, you're the one that's going to come out. They're the ones going to come out on top.
And I want to highlight, this is the reason why I think Mordekaiser is a broken champion. She is building full survivability, but because of your E, which gives you passive magic penetration, and your passive, which does percentage health damage, it builds on top of each other. All you're doing is percentage health magic damage through penetration, right? You don't even need any items. All you're doing is just percentage damage.
Definitely a little bit you, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was actually standing in the middle of the team fight, I'm not actually sure if he was out in.
So there was no out, but it takes around everyone on you. So essentially, if there are 3 people are losing 3% of their health every second.
Yep. So that's a good thing. You're not in out, so you're actually doing damage to everybody instead of just one unit.
Yeah.
Right. Now that we do see a bit of an advantage, it's only about 2k for Lannister, but that's, I think, the highest we've seen all game. I want to see what they're going to be able to do to build on it. Hopefully they play a bit more of a macro game, trying to match WoW in what they're trying to do.
Both Darius as well as Mordekaiser are playing on the bot lane. Christy is still fishing for Sleepy Trouble bubble picks, but the attention right now is actually focused to top tier 1. They want to get this structure, this last pesky top lane structure here before they can move on to bot.
Yeah, I like that they've already set up the vision line, though. You can see that in the river they actually have a lot of wards.
Yep.
So once they do clear out this turret, they are going to be able to push that line further up, try to secure a bit more of an advantageous position around the Baron should they try to, threaten the big purple worm.
Meanwhile, Christy is going to get blue buff, and this is going to be a nightmare for anyone that's sitting across her because those bubbles are going to come fast and consistently.
Consistently is the word. I mean, she has not been. She has never stopped trying to look for these picks. And
but that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
There's this saying, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Which is true. As long as you keep throwing Sleepy Trouble bubbles, one of them is going to stick eventually.
Definitely, and we've seen that happen, right? Remember the one time she actually hit the Sleepy Trouble on Orianna?
On
the Orianna, boom, gone. And the fact that she's 516 right now, if she's hit those Sleepy Trouble bubbles more often in previous fights, I think it would have been better. But honestly, it doesn't really matter right now because the damage profile that she does have at the moment is just high enough that whoever you catch out is gonna get chunked, no matter what.
Still fishing. Looking for the Jarvan here. Sleepy Trouble bubble the wrong direction though. Cuts him off. The escape not really there. But she is supported by Sbubby as well as Diglett, so they are manning up and moving into the jungle to clear the vision out.
Alright. This is what I like to see, right? You know, they're pushing up their vision line. I think they could do a little better with the second entrance into that topside river, but overall, now that they've taken that turret, they should have priority fully over the... wait, actually, no, both tier 1 turrets are up, so it should sort of be equal. I want to see WoW beginning to contest the vision there as well then.
Still no answer for this Darius, but you don't really have to kill the Darius. All you have to do is just hold the wave, play ping pong, and mutually teleport to impact the fights. The power of Adney cannot be understated when she arrives. Of course, we saw what happened when she was standing in the middle of 3 members ticking down with her passive.
Absolutely, and that was pretty disruptive. And the thing that you have to do now that you know that Adney is going to be this disruptive is you have to, you know, sort of focus down on Mordekaiser when he gets there. I think Darius also has the potential to be very disruptive. It really depends on who gets there and what positions they assume once they do get there.
Ruh-roh. Overextended is a Darius right now, looking for a Sleepy Trouble bubble, having to flash away preemptively as well. Doesn't want any part of this monkey business. Instead, will just back off. Meanwhile, on the top side, Adney has teleport, so macro play. The strength of Lannister is starting to be shown here. They understand, okay, Dragon is going to be the next hot contest. So what do? We send the Mordekaiser to the top side, teleport in if we need to, and then either way we get top pressure or we get the Dragon fight.
Yeah, and you can see right now, WoW is not sending anyone to defend that. Well, Darius is buffing up now, but if you get decent damage on this turret, might not actually fall it, but all the rest of Lannister has to do right now, they just have to hang around this Dragon, play the, you know, continue the dance that they've been doing in the early stages of the game, make sure that they don't really go for any fights until the Mordekaiser is free.
They could still keep fishing for Sleepy Trouble bubbles as well. You could see throwing it in. You will get vision of the Dragon being started because of the Scuttle Crab here. Meanwhile, the Dragon might just go the way of the Jarvan as it's smited down. Double teleports coming in. A lot of damage actually. A Cataclysm in the center of it all. Christy now throwing Sleepy Trouble bubbles back and forth. The Death Realm being used on the Darius to deny the damage. So it's a 1v1 right now. But as it moves forward, you can see the damage from Christy is not enough. She's getting chunked out. She's in the front line. And everyone on the side of Lannisters is getting taken down. All eyes onto Friend though. Hopefully she could find something here. Darius moving forward, still Friend overextended, and yep, this is a bad fight. They should not have taken that, and it's going to get picked off.
Yeah, this is a good part, right? You know, this time Darius was the first to teleport in, first to disrupt that team fight, and they are the ones who end up coming up on top. Because Lannister was so split, WoW was able to take that fight to them and fight on their own terms.
What cannot be understated was the fact that Christy mispositioned. She moved way too far forward, trying to get the kill on Orianna and Sivir. Unable to do so, got picked up, and from then your long-term DPS, your consistent magic damage is gone. You can't win the fight after that.
Yeah, and right now WoW is just going to continue pressing their advantage in the second turret. And you would think that now they do have 2 turrets over their counterparts in the bot lane. They should be the ones that's contesting that Dragon Pit much, much better.
2 dragons apiece, like you mentioned. Baron, of course, an objective, but neither team really too eager to look at it just yet.
I like how gold has actually stabilized against like 300, so very back and forth dynamic between both of these teams. Neither of them really willing to give up control of the game fully to the other.
I would expect no less in the upper bracket finals for both teams to be extremely equal in terms of stature. They're punching pound for pound here. No big misplays coming through. It's just been blow for blow. Meanwhile, I say that in the river might get caught out here by the Orianna who has the shockwave. Hesitated, decided not to put the trigger on those 2.
A lot of these moves from both of these teams, they're looking like they want to engage. They're sort of trying to bait the enemy team into engaging on you instead. But I like how both of these teams, they're not falling for these baits. They're playing super defensively. It's not very exciting League of Legends, but it builds up. You know, it builds up attention to when something large actually happens around a big objective. And I don't think anything's really going to happen until an objective is on the board. Because
and they have to fight for it.
Yeah, both of these teams, they have the discipline to not look for
pointless
unneeded fights. Yeah.
Oh, chunk onto the Braum. Stand behind me is available, so she can jump over if she needs to. But 32 minutes in, let's take stock of the items. Mid lane Void Staff has been completed for Kirsty, so Magic Resist is not an issue anymore. Top lane wise, Spirit Visage is the next pickup for Adney, so mostly tank items from top and jungle on the side of Lannister, whereas it's full damage for Zoe as well as Lucian. The damage profile is sort of mixed now.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that, you know, there's still not many kills on who you expect to be doing damage. The Orianna and Sivir, right? They're both on 1 kill. They're both on 1 kill each, and both of them are actually at CS deficit, if not equal. So they're not really doing that much damage over their enemy counterparts. So what you have to do now is you have to look for extremely good positioning, because you're not going to be able to just brute force fights.
Right. Positioning is going to be super key here, and thankfully it is Inferno Dragon, so all of these broken down walls and extra space in the jungle gives you more room to maneuver around.
Definitely can try to throw off your enemy. I think what WoW can actually try to do right now, right, is you have the Sivir, you have the Darius, you have the ability to go in and disrupt. You have a lot of wombo combo. I think what you can try to do is you take the fight to them. Right. We saw that in the previous fight near the dragon, but if they try to look for a sort of engage, if it's coordinated enough, I think they can catch out Lannister by surprise.
Perhaps so. Oh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Good spell shield from Sivir to keep herself safe. Meanwhile, pushing in is the Nautilus. Recalls coming in though from multiple members of Lannisters. They're going to get the buys in. Spubby picking up another Giant's Belt in addition to the Gargoyle Stoneplate. So she's going to be a frontline tank for all intents and purposes. She's going to want to be in the thick of things, popping Stoneplate and hoping to tank as much damage for her team.
Yeah, and one thing we saw when it comes to this Mordekaiser, right, is that in the previous fight, she was actually the second one teleport in after Darius, and Darius was already in the thick of things. So she had to spend her ultimate on the Darius to make sure that she was protecting her, her carries. And that's not like
it's not a bad
thing to do though.
It's not optimal, but it's not a bad way to remove a threat from the fight. Historically, we see how the Death Realm has been used. Oh, the guy's a priority target because he's shredding our team. Just out him and we play catching for a little bit. Nothing wrong.
And again, I guess, yeah, that point is valid since, you know, the rest of your carries, they do have a damage advantage. So taking out the main threat, yeah, sure, maybe not the best, maybe not the worst idea.
This is a very dangerous choke. Sleepy Trouble Bubble already being used, having to block the Paddle Star though. You could see just the Sleepy Trouble Bubble alone. It's a 1/10 of her health bar. Right now, Dragon has been started up. All eyes on the Smite. Spubby has hers and so does Pelikaton, but right now it's going to reset back in. Will be claimed by the ladies on the Lannister side.
Now they do have the soul, if I'm not mistaken.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble looking for the chunk, but it's going to be blocked out by the Jarvan, so good guy brother Jarvan will take the damage for her teammate. Meanwhile, walking in is Braum. Actually been in a very bad position. Using the Shockwave to catch out a single member might be worse though. Using the Keeper's Verdict, actually not being able to bounce out the Darius, but they will find the kill on the Nautilus through the Paddle Star. Now Annie is chasing in. She wants the Death Realm on top of the Orianna. Unable to do so, not enough range, not enough speed. They will move over to the Baron.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wasted flash coming in from coming in from Lannister since, you know, Sivir's already popped her ultimate. They're getting out of dodge. You should just, you know, capitalize on that. Look for, you know, Baron like they're doing now.
This Baron's actually gonna go down very quickly because Adney does percentage damage and so does Friend. And the poke from Kirsty is just so much. They have to just block the Sleepy Trouble Bubbles as they approach because there's no way for them to take the fight apart from that. Oh, good spell shield. Sleepy Trouble Bubble once more. Look at them. They're just weaving in and out of these fights.
Yeah, while they're not really trying to contest all that much, they're just trying to peel Lannister away from the Baron. Sure, they're not going to commit to fights, but as long as they get the objective away from Lannister, I think that's a job well done.
Oop, Sleepy Trouble Bubble, spell shielded away. At least they have that going for them. Every time a Sleepy Trouble Bubble is thrown up, Sivir can eat the CC without too many repercussions.
Alright, we're beginning to see, you know, they're beginning to focus their way around the Baron. I think all the wards that should be bought are being bought. Take a look at Lannister's inventory.
I love
a lot of control wards.
I love that whole line of control wards. Like, that is, if you are anyone working in an analyst or strategic capacity, that is the dream right there.
Buy your wards, yo.
Yeah.
We have to see whether or not WoW is going to be able to contest that. I mean, that's a lot of control wards. You have to clear it out very quickly unless you're just going to concede full control over this top side of the jungle, which you absolutely do not want to do this late in game.
There's a control ward over there that wasn't spotted out by Diglett, but it's okay because right now. They will see Polikaton walking in, and the fact that they have to use the Demacian standard as well as the ball to check means it's a very bad sign, right? They have no way in, although it is a way to check. They have no clean information of what is going on.
Again, if Lannisters begin this Baron, right, I think WoW still can surprise them with the sheer speed that they can get to the objective with the Sivir ult.
Meanwhile, Darius just pushing out the bot lane. Remember that Annie did have a hard time dealing with this. Inside track here for Spubby and Diglett as they approach the turret. Still fishing for Sleepy Trouble Bubbles though, as they're looking to put the damage down. Now that she has the Banshee's Veil, she's not afraid of the depth charge. She's not afraid of the Dredge line either. Love that pickup. Didn't really talk much about it, but it enables her to play that much more aggressively.
Bring attention back towards the top laners though. I think one thing we've seen but not really brought attention to is the fact that whoever teleports first is actually winning the fights.
Yeah.
So you have to always, keep an eye on what the rest of your team is doing. You have to communicate very quickly. And again, it all comes back down to this idea of late game communication. Who's going to have the decision making to say, hey, I need you all to teleport in now, and not be the one who's stringing along.
Right. Managed to clear all the vision here. It's the Jarvan that has to check this. Polikaton walks up, actually gets spotted here. There's enough vision for them to make the play if they want to. Sleepy Trouble Bubble is available. Kirsty holding off on the trigger, not deciding to go in just yet. She's very low mana. We have to see how this plays out into the future fights, because she's only got about a quarter of a mana bar left, which isn't excellent if you want to take long-term fights. But flashing in, Bobby super aggressive, ready throws down the Keeper's Verdict. Now they need to proc the winner's buy if they want to make anything happen. Well, the Sleepy Trouble Bubble is good enough as well. Culling gets the kill. The chain CC perfection there. Meanwhile, on the bot side, a lot of damage down onto Adney. She still has the Zhonya's Hourglass if she needs it. She's still buying time with the shield as well. I think she's just waiting, but no, not even popping the Zhonya's Hourglass there. That's a big misplay coming in. Dragon has to be started now. It's now or never, but the Darius can teleport in with the ultimate as well. All eyes onto the Orianna as they charge her down. They try to burst her, and they will get the kill, and now they're moving in once more. They're trading a lot of time wasted, though, because Darius is going to get the inhibitor on the bot side. Meanwhile, no Baron just yet.
Yeah, Lannister right now, they're absolutely routed. WoW has done a great job at pulling them around the Baron pit, while Darius is absolutely just storming into the base with a ton of super minions. At the end of the day, that's one inhib. Oh, they're going in again.
Going in again, looking for more Sleepy Trouble Bubble, not landing at all. So Bobby is actually not as tanky as she liked to be. Sivir cutting through her health bar still. You have to think in the bot lane, there was a big misplay from Annie. She held on the Zhonya's for too little, too late.
I think, honestly, at that point, if you used the Zhonya's, it would have been, futile either way. So I think the way you should have done that is you should have pulled someone back early. Because as soon as you saw that Darius was going in and you're gonna die, that bot lane has to be defended by someone else.
Yeah. Now that is no longer a question, it's a statement that Darius is gonna be, winning these 1v1s against Adney. What is the answer from Lannisters here? Do you continue to send Adney, just ask her to play safer, or do you have to devote someone else to go and defend against the Darius?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? WoW has been so good at, splitting the enemy team across the map. This is how they beat Lannister in the previous day, and they're doing it again. We continue to see the dance around the Baron continue. A lot of these wards have been, traded back and forth. Both these teams doing quite the good job at clearing each other's vision.
Right.
I don't think either of them have really gained a foothold just yet to the point where they should be confident enough to say, yeah, let's go.
Clearing the wave out in the bot lane is Annie. Meanwhile, Scuttle Crab being taken by Polikaton and her mid laner. They are still going to clear the waves out, like you mentioned, and aggroing the Baron to put some damage on the Orianna. It's fine. Command Protect will keep her topped up and safe. Still searching for a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, though. Throwing the damage across once more.
Yeah, this is looking very, very tense. I mean, okay, well, that's not tense anymore. But yeah, WoW has been, doing pretty good, placing the wards back in the vision. I mean, I think Lannister, they had a good control just before, but the fact that WoW was able to move in while Lannister was still a little disjointed from the previous fight and clear out their vision, that's pretty good.
Whoever maintains vision of this pit is going to have full control. Of course, that goes without saying. But not only that, having the vision allows people like Kirsty to land these pokes and land a Sleepy Trouble Bubbles. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you are Orianna, you find a window with vision. Command Shockwave can actually start the fight out pretty well. So these are the things you're trying to sneak in with the extra vision, right? It's not about just seeing, oh, have they started Baron? It's what else can I get on top of that?
I think right now, though, Lannisters, they are looking a little desperate. Not gonna lie. If you remember, I think that Poppy engaged flashing to get the Nautilus, that wasn't the optimal play, but they did it nonetheless. So I don't think... I think they're trying to rush it.
Yeah.
Honestly, they just have to step back right now. They are not at a significant deficit. In fact, they basically have an advantage right now. So if they step back and take it easy, I think, again, clearer minds will win day.
Yep.
And yeah, we shouldn't just continue seeing them throwing themselves into a brick wall.
There's also the opportunity for them to just wait for the 4th dragon, look for the Infernal Soul, and then maybe play the poke game with added advantages, because with the Infernal Soul, of course, you get bonus damage every time you proc an ability or auto attack, so Kirsty becomes that much more dangerous. They don't have to pull the trigger on the Baron, they don't have to be too over-eager, all they have to do is just wait it out, and like you say, calmer minds will prevail. Hoping to find out what the technical issue is. We should be jumping the game very soon at 41 minutes. This has to be our longest game for today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the most even by far at 41 minutes.
I mean, it's only 1k right now, right? It absolutely does not matter. I think the later the game goes, the better Sivir will get, right? But right now it's 1, 3, and 4, which just brings me back to the point of, hey, you don't have to rush right now. Your Lucian is 5, 2, and 10. He's not falling off just yet. Sure, it's going to be a few more minutes before he does, but until then, you just bide your time and try to capitalize on WoW's mistakes.
And compared to the previous game, when we were talking about, well, the opposing team against Lannisters have no wave clear because it's either MF or Vladimir, right? Well, in this case, Sivir has the best wave clear out of all ADCs. She has enough crit chance to just throw Ricochet and hope the wave just goes. So, of course, they can stall the game out, and they have enough defensive stats on the Sivir to do so. Let's see if we can jump back into game soon. There you go. I'm pausing, and yeah, we will see what the play is. Like we mentioned, Inferno Dragon is always an option. You don't have to pull the trigger on Baron just yet. Instead, you could just keep fishing for picks with Kirsty.
Interested to see when the next big fight is going to occur, though. I think it's going to be when, Dragon spawns again. I don't think either of these teams, they really want to go in on the Baron. But once that Dragon comes up, both of them will get a soul, so...
That's actually a pretty good pick here, forcing the flash out of the Jarvan. They didn't really see the flash come through, though, I believe. You only see where the Sleepy Trouble Bubble procs, so if it's not in the same area, you could guess that maybe the flash was used.
Yeah, and poor Atney right now, she has no turret to defend. Wait.
Zhonya's? She used the stopwatch? Okay.
Not sure what happened. Possibly another Sleepy Trouble. But Zoe wasn't in range, so...
Yeah, so that makes no sense. Maybe just a misclick coming through. Maybe she was just looking for the control ward. And speaking of looking, they found the Braum inside the jungle, but they aren't going to continue on this fight. And why would they? Because they have the Darius advantage pushing forward, using the Randuin's Omen as well as the Apprehend. And he popping the shield now actually pulls the Darius back into range, and this should buy them some space. A lot of pings back, actually using the Death Realm to go in for this fight. And guess what? Because she's in the Death Realm, she doesn't know that everyone on the side of Lannisters is here. Once she comes out, this should be easy for them to pick up with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble as well as the Paddle Star. They will lose mid-tier 2 though, but they will find the Darius and they will buy 60 seconds of uninterrupted time now with the Baron.
Yeah, and that's the crucial thing, right? Now it's a 4v5. The Darius isn't there, doesn't have teleport to get into the fight. And even more so, you don't have any more minions streaming into your base once Mordekaiser clears up. But we do see WoW trying to set up some sort of engage to claw something back.
They're sitting around the area, the wards are being cleared out, Sleepy Trouble Bubble is being used to fish for picks. Have to respect Kirsty right now, she has a death cap as well, and it becomes so much more dangerous when you're sitting inside the pit against this, much less checking it against the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. It closes out all the chokes. Teleport coming in, Atney does not have the Death Realm, but a great chunk on the Orianna will keep her away for now. They might have bought enough space with Kirsty's Paddle Stars to guarantee that this Baron is taken by the Smite of Spubby here.
Yep, wow, no way for them to get into this Baron pit at all. Oh, man.
Okay, the chunk, Polikaton using the Gargoyle Stone Plate, the culling just cuts her down where she stands. Now with the Baron, with the pick, they're going to roll advantages onto advantages.
Yeah, and this all stemmed from catching the Darius out, right? The ultimate coming in from the Mordekaiser, not... I thought it wasn't going to be very good, but they managed to find the kill, they managed to find the Baron, they managed to pick up the Jarvan 4 at the end of that as well.
The question that we had at the start was, now that it is known that Darius will win the 1v1, what do we do about it, right? And a stroke of genius from Atney, understanding that if I throw her in the Death Realm, she has no information on who's coming back. We sneak a recall, we make the kill happen, and then we play around the Baron, because even though we back off, there's no way they're rushing the Baron quick enough.
Absolutely. Now Pink's coming down on the dragon. Both these teams will get the soul if they kill the dragon. So this is a very crucial objective take for both of them. Neither of them are going to want to give it up.
On an unrelated note, you know what I love about 10.1? No more Mountain Dragon percentage bonus damage on objectives.
Yeah.
So things like Dragon, things like Baron actually go down so much slower that teams have more time to react now. You can't sneak a Dragon with, you can't sneak a Baron with 3 Mountain Dragons anymore.
Absolutely, just adds to how much you have to set up.
Yep.
It's not like you can you take those 3 dragons, you get a cheat code for
Yeah,
free.
I used to meme that so much because you get 3 Mountain Dragons, you just walk over with ADC and Jungler, you get the Baron for free.
Oh, 5 seconds is gone.
Yeah.
Where's the enemy team? Okay, at the moment we do see WoW the advantage circling around the dragon. They're actually gonna start it up. But the rest of Lannister, they're around. Oh.
Big chunk on top of the Orianna on the hunt is still available, but they find the pick, and there is no shockwave left for you in this fight. Culling coming through off the backline. They're looking to isolate the Sivir. They will get the kill on the Jarvan though, so that's 2 picks already. Sleepy Trouble Bubble to lock down the Darius. They get the Inferno Dragon, they get the Inferno Soul. They knock the Darius away, and now they clean up the fight. Magnificent play coming in from Lannisters, and they're going for a little bit more, because why not? Because why would they delay the game anymore? They could just close it out right here, right now.
And that was an absolute masterclass in how you should be skirmishing around the dragon, prioritizing the targets that you have to. And hey, that was a 4v5. The Mordekaiser was pushing Baron empowered minions down the mid lane.
Walking this one in easy as you like. This is going to be the structures going down, and the earliest to come up is going to be 17 seconds on Polikaton and counting. I don't think that's enough time for them to defend this, because all the damage coming through from the Baron empowered minions as well as the autos might just finish the game off. In this best of 3, Lannister strike first and take game 1.
Ooh, it was looking very, very unstable for honestly most of that game, but Lannister's calmer hits will prevail. They managed to pick up the objectives that they have to. They pick up the Baron, they pick up the Dragon Soul, and a bunch of kills. At the end of the day, they got the first win.
Endemic of the Thai qualifiers is adaptation. That's a
Yeah.
key characteristic of the Thai qualifiers and Thai teams. This game, we're wondering how they're going to problem solve around the Darius. It's such a big problem, right? How are we going to find a way to neutralize this? The answer, easy as you like, is Mordekaiser Death Realm into 4-man gank. Look at the damage from Kirsty. She was the linchpin for this team. Every time a Sleepy Trouble Bubble landed, no more objectives for you.
MVP.
MVP
Honestly.
for sure. Game 2 you ban it, I think?
I think you have to at this point. But the thing about Kirsty is she has so many strong picks, right?
Right.
All of them are so comfortable on her. And even then, if you devote a ban to the Zoe, who then do you let open?
Maybe you let the Zoe through, you find a counter pick in the form of LeBlanc, maybe some sort of assassin to neutralize her strength. We didn't see the Orianna have anything in that way to sort of neutralize the Zoe, so hopefully, in game 2, they'll find an answer. But for now, guys, we will be going for a short break. Short reminder that this is a best-of-3 series. Right now, Lannisters, the prevailing champions from last Thai qualifiers, are actually 1 game up. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with game 2.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what we're expecting is going to be a very close game in the FSL finals for the Thailand qualifiers. I'm Spoots. He's Hungry Cass. How's he gonna feel? How are you feeling?
I think game 1 was actually pretty close, all things considered. Both teams were pretty even up to the point where I think it was the dragon fight, and very crucially, Kirsty's Zoe was popping off that fight, landing a lot of crucial pedal stars that net them the win. In this game 2, we were talking about whether we expect the Zoe to be banned out or if they're going to find an answer to it. I suspect that Team WoW themselves were probably debating over that earlier when they had that break, that 10-minute break, to consider what they wanted to do. Right now, their last ban, they are considering MF or Zoe. In this case, it will be the Misfortune ban out. And like we saw, Braum was a high prior pick, so was Jarvan, and Asbabi's going to get Jarvan again.
Yeah, like we're talking about, though, it's super difficult to just, ban out Kirsty because she has such a deep champion pool and she's, pretty proficient on most of these champions. So allowing the Zoe to go through, maybe she picks up something else even.
So because they did ban out the Darius, they will get the Jarvan and give the Braum over to Team WoW. But this does mean that Nautilus will be left available for them. What I would like to see is Nautilus Kai'Sa in response to whoever Braum is picked with. The only tough matchup you have would be Braum and... I guess ostensibly Braum and Tristana would be quite bad if you're playing Kai'Sa Nautilus.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want something with priority, right? You want something against skirmish. Again, bot lane is very important, especially here in the Thailand qualifiers. The Braum is not exactly the best, especially when you don't have, the
Xin Zhao, okay.
the MF to back you up.
Yeah, we tend to see the Braum a bit more when you have that backline power, and Lucian's not really a backline power pick, right? Tristana, however, if left completely unchecked, will do or at least wreak some havoc. Christie now hovering over, at least Bubby hovering over the Orianna. We saw Christie picked it up to decent effect. Right now, though, I would like to see them go for a prior support pick in the form of the Nautilus, and then decide if they want to play an early, at least pick the early top laner.
Okay, Kirsty's been playing against Orianna basically all day now. The first time she's, this is the first time she's actually going to pick up the champion herself. I'm going to see, excited to see how she does on it.
Right.
But we do see the Nautilus, however, like you were talking about, definitely an aggressive support going into the Braum. These are the two power picks we've seen basically across most of the champion selects today.
So if Ornn makes it through this pick phase, I do expect it to be banned in the second phase. The question is whether they will pick it right now for themselves because they have the Braum on their own team. Normally, it's Braum used as a Ornn counter pick. Now that you have Braum for yourself, Ornn is fine, completely left alone to use Call of the Forge God, so they might be able to secure that for themselves, but instead it will be the Ahri here against the Orianna. And in this matchup, like I said, I always prefer if the Orianna player goes for a cleanse, especially if you're not too comfortable, but Christie has shown that she's pretty decent on this matchup as the Ahri, so we'll have to see how that pans out. Second ban phase coming in. Focus might just be on the AD carries, it might also be on the top laners. Fiora coming in.
Yep, top laners being focused at the moment. Fiora is something we haven't seen much, but I think we've seen her banned a lot, so maybe they know something we don't.
It was banned in game 1, banned again this time in game 2, so they're going to be banning out the Lucian, right? Interesting, they don't want the Lucian Braum to become a threat here. I think pinching out the AD carry pool is the name of the game right now for Lannister.
Yeah, like you said, Kai'Sa Braum is actually looking to be one of the better bot lane synergies that we have going right now. You brought up Tristana Braum as well. I don't think that's sure Tristana gets the job done, but I don't think it's the optimal pick to go with Braum at the moment.
Okay. Filio's banned out. Remember that Mordekaiser's actually left open this phase, and both teams not really gesturing towards the Mordekaiser at all. We saw the weakness and the strengths of the Mordekaiser. When you fall behind, you can't really take the 1v1s anymore. But what you can do is use the Death Realm to facilitate ganks for your teammates to come in and suppress. And just as I say that, Mordekaiser's going to get banned out. So right now, they're looking at the next pick. Like I said, I would love to see a Braum here and then wait for your last pick to secure the AD carry because you don't know what the matchup is going to be yet. Xayah Braum is kind of meh. I don't like Xayah into the wombo combo compositions. Although you can use the Featherstorm to dodge away from the depth charge, the majority of the follow-up CC is still there.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty defensive bot lane, all things considered, especially against the Nautilus and honestly whoever else he brings. Just because the sheer engage potential of the Nautilus into the Xayah Braum earlier on in the lane.
Yep. I think you do Ornn Kai'Sa here, you have enough power in the Orianna and the Kai'Sa to get rolling, but instead will be the Varus. Interesting. Immobile ADC picked up already.
Yeah, Immobile ADC into Braum Xayah is actually not the best because both the ultimates, they cover quite a wide range of area and they are pretty high impact.
Not just that, it's Xin Zhao on the opposing side as well. So if they want to brute force ganks, they can do so. The reason I prefer Kai'Sa is because you do at least have some sort of movement speed boost in the form of the hypercharge, and when you hit level 6, you can reposition yourself, as it were, with the Killer Instinct.
Right, that's an Akali locked in though, so that is going to be Akali top lane. We're not going to see too much of a tank in the way here for Lannister. That is Ornn, however, though.
Akali into Ornn. This is actually a tricky matchup. I did play a lot of Akali before all the nerfs. I still do play her a lot. In this particular matchup against Ornn, the Ornn player will go for Grasp of the Undying, whereas Akali has to go for Conqueror if she wants to have any hope of doing damage in the top lane trades. This is the part where the junglers should ignore the top lane as well, because although you can set either of these two top laners behind, it's going to be very hard to do so. They're extremely slippery. There's no real way to get them to a point where they're just irrelevant, right? Think about how the ganks are going to work. Jarvan EQ in, Ornn W stops him from getting knocked up, right? You want to come in and gank Akali, well, good luck with that. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, the MO for both these top laners really is just to, sit back, relax, and when the team fights happen, teleport in and be a disruption, right? Akali does that amazingly. Ornn does that less so. I think you need a bit of setup time for Call of the Forge God. So we want to see what both these teams do, because if they're able to find favorable team fights for their top lane to teleport into, I think that is one of the best ways they can win the mid game.
If you are Xin Zhao though, you want to focus Ahri a little bit more in the early game and at least blow the flash of the Orianna. You see Christie now going for the cleanse, which is what I tend to advise. But because she is immobile, Orianna does not have any form of escape. She has to manage the wave very carefully, and if she overextends, you burn the flash, you regank the lane, get Ahri a lead, then she can distribute her advantage to the bot lane and the top lane as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, with the Orianna, you're not going to look at her for roaming potential much. Ahri, though, like you said, has that potential very much so. I want to see who is going to be able to gain the advantage in the mid lane, who's going to unlock their mid laner first. And if it's going to be Ahri, I want to see what Ahri is going to be able to do elsewhere on the map.
Actually, Orianna last minute swapping back to teleport, so no cleanse this time. But what this does mean is that, or at least what this implies is you will be looking to impact the map through teleport. You don't want to walk out and full Ahri, so you can arrive first through teleporting in. You just can't walk out of lane. Yeah. Because the moment you walk out of lane without cleanse, you either charm, you're dead. Yeah.
Right, if we take a look at the bot lanes, though, I want to... Here's the thing with Varus Nautilus, right? You pick aggressive... you pick an aggressive support in the form of the Nautilus. You pick a Varus who is not exactly known for being the aggressive person. I mean, you can engage with your ultimate. You have fair damage.
It's a utility champion. It is like Ashe, right? In the same way that Ashe is more poke-oriented, Varus is more late-game scaling-oriented. So when you get to a certain point, you have your full suite of items. You become like a standing turret. As compared to Ashe, who wants to use volley a lot. I see your idea of like the anti-synergy, as it were, between Varus and Nautilus.
Yeah, I would think that, you know, Jarvan right now, you actually could play around top right now. You can get your Akali a hit, and playing towards bot, especially towards the early game. I don't think that is gonna do all that much in unlocking the Varus.
Yeah, that's why I say Kai'Sa is always better, especially for Nautilus, because you proc the plasma stacks very quickly. The combo I tend to use is when the Nautilus lends the Q, that's one plasma stack. You walk over your auto, and then the Nautilus autos as well. So that's 3. You Q and then auto. So all in total, you do a lot of burst damage by popping the plasma stacks at 4 stacks after a full suite of combos.
Yeah, and that's pretty quick. It's like 2 autos worth of time. So it is a chunk of damage you're going to take away from your opposing laner. But unfortunately, we're not going to see the Kai'Sa. It is Varus. So, yeah.
I think people have not liked Kai'Sa a lot ever since the changes to Stormrazor as well as Manamune. Because Stormrazor doesn't give as much AD now, it gives a bit more crit. Kai'Sa doesn't really want crit, right? So there is no optimal build for Kai'Sa that gives her all the stats that she wants. Most people will just reluctantly move towards Stormrazor just because it gives you attack speed as well as AD, and no other item in the game gives that, right? So when it comes to builds. So of course, you kind of have to buy the Stormrazor and just suck it up a little bit. Just take the crits, fine, and then hope to scale into the mid game better. Of course, you don't get your full evolve Q or E on the Stormrazor buy anymore.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty biased against Kai'Sa. I think at this point you can correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but I don't think she has the sufficient damage profile. I think she just does less damage than the other AD carries, especially if you fall behind early.
The problem was, at least in the past, before they nerfed or changed the items, she would keep up because of her evolve to be available very early on. So you scale through the evolve and you scale through the Manamune as well. So these are the 2 tools you use to sort of scale up as Kai'Sa. Right now, Stormrazor is a decent second buy. You could do Manamune, but you don't have the early game power like the other bot laners, like MF does, right? MF bases with 900 gold, gets 2 extra Duran Blades and just owns the lane, right? She bases with a BF Sword, you pretty much just lose the lane. Kai'Sa can't do the same thing.
It was sort of, you know, dipping deep into the AD carry pool for both these teams, though, right now, since all of the A-tier AD carries are being removed. We're actually down to Varus and Xayah, which we haven't seen basically the entire
we saw Varus in the Vietnam qualifiers. I don't think we saw her in the Thai qualifiers. I saw him in the Thai qualifiers, but definitely no Xayah. There was no Xayah whatsoever.
So I want to see what both these champions bring to the table, how they do affect the meta, the mini meta, as it were, that
like
we have here
regional
in the
meta, right?
Yeah.
Xayah, of course, like I mentioned, is good because she can dodge a lot of the CC coming through, especially the point and click from Nautilus. However, once the Featherstorm is expanded, you are still susceptible to Jarvan's Cataclysm as well as Orianna's Shockwave, right? So these are the tools that both the mid jungle want to use to capitalize on the weak Xayah.
Keep in mind though, Blade Caller still does a ton of damage.
Oh yeah,
right. If you're the enemy team against the Xayah, you have to always keep that in mind that, hey, the feathers are behind me. If I walk up here, I'm going to take a ton of damage. I have to be aware of that.
Of course, you still have to respect the Xayah peel, self-peel, as it were, from the Blade Callers. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I feel like Xayah is only really good with Rakan just because of the level 1 power that they have. When Xayah is alone, it's very little threat that she brings because she doesn't have the lane dominance anymore.
That's fair. Overall, I still think Zaya's still better than, you know, Varus.
Okay.
Varus, you still have hit the skill shot, so this bot lane, definitely very interesting. I'm going to keep my eye on it. I want to see how both these junglers actually also affect that lane. Like we were talking about how Jarvan can actually impact the top lane a little bit more this matchup than, you know, in the previous games. But I think if you're able to land skill shots in the bot lane, if you're Nautilus and you land your hook, this Jarvan definitely has a venue to go in as well.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. We see a ward being placed down inside the river, and with the Demacian standard thrown down, they will know that Jarvan is in this top half of the map, and not the best ward being put there. It will spot 3 avenues of movement, but it will not see whether Xin Zhao is on the Raptors later on.
Yeah, the way Xin Zhao is pathing right now, you don't expect him to be spotted out by the ward at all, unless he tries for, you know, what, a cheese level 2 mid gang.
I expect it to be red into Krugs into Raptors, so ideally by the time you walk over, the ward is over. Otherwise, you just walk away from the ward because you know it's there, right? So yeah, I mean they're spamming vision pings right now. So
okay, both junglers actually starting on their reds. Nothing too different. I don't think in this setup, right, that the Jarvan can actually go for a level 2, you know, cheese gang bot. It would be nice to get your Varus a hit, but I don't think that is something that's particularly feasible this time.
You could, but you won't have sufficient damage coming through. You would have enough CC, but just not enough damage. So you would want to do a level 3. You clear all the way to level 3 and then make something happen. Polikaton, like I said, going towards the Krugs. Jarvan, however, looking for level 2 early on, but this lane is going to be pushing. It wasn't well managed by Kirsty, so it's going to be pushing, and there's no way you can gank this.
Yep, just a bit of loss on tempo. Shouldn't be too difficult to claw that one back. Actually gonna leave the Raptors and go towards top side though.
That's fine. If you do Raptors, you don't get level 3, so you need to clear blue and Grom to get level 3. Meanwhile, Conqueror being picked up by Annie here, so of course she's going to be doing a lot of damage early on, especially because Ornn has 0 combat stats, only has the Corrupting Potion. Things will change as the lane goes on though, so hopefully she will be able to find some advantages of her own, but yeah, this Akali lane is just frustrating to deal with. However, she did go for the Twilight Shot level 2, so she might get caught out here. Might have to flash actually. Yeah, definitely gonna have to flash.
Go in. Alright.
If Polikaton wants to go through, they might be able to do so, but Spubby's coming here for the assist. Flag and Drag is available, has no vision whatsoever though, so she had to guess which way they were gonna walk, and she guessed wrong. She's just here to make sure they don't get a bit too antsy, and Annie will pay for the over-aggression with a flash.
Yep, just a bit of a flash right now. Akali obviously has the threat to become a carry, and now that you have flash burn, and she's obviously going to continue pushing against the Ornn, I think Polikaton is going to be able to come back up and attempt another gank later on.
Meanwhile, Kirsty is pressuring her opponent out pretty well. Like I said, Orianna is very much a perfect lane champion if you understand the matchup. You will never lose the lane matchup if you are competent with Orianna. That being said, she is outside of lane kind of tricky to utilize. Hold on, gang coming in the mid lane. Spubby's actually walking in. Flag and Drag is flashed away from, but oh my goodness, the follow through is actually more than we expected. Phase Rush was actually the pickup for Kirsty here, so she understands that the movement speed is crucial, and she needs the movement speed to dodge away from the charm.
Yeah, Jarvan right now with ample early game pressure, looking towards top for the counter gang, and now rotating towards mid. He should be able to pick up bottom side scuttle as bot lane goes in.
Bot lane finding the hook on the Braum, not really the ideal target, because you won't be able to hit him with the Guardian as well as the Unbreakable up.
Yep, Spubby's gonna secure the bot side scuttle crab. Has to be careful here though. Braum is okay. Just gonna flag and drag out. He's safe.
Oh, unfortunate disconnect coming through from Polikaton, so that Scryer's Orb did see the jungler there, but hopefully we'll be able to get back in the game relatively soon. I liked that Kirsty immediately based after getting the kill and matched item for item, so they're both sitting on Doran's rings right now.
Yeah,
or not kill rather, the early advantage from the flash.
Kirsty right now has been showing, you know, been pretty good on the Orianna. Oh, well, has been pretty good on most champions across the day, so I don't think we'll be seeing any deviation from that. We have to continue looking towards, you know, the mid game to see how the Orianna does, right? Because that's honestly where the power trough is, because Ahri's going to be unlocked to walk around the map, and Ahri honestly is going to just stay around the mid. So
if you can open up the mid-tier 1, that's generally how Orianna gets her pressure back. Because if you're constantly pushing and they have to defend at mid-tier 2, you get a lot more space. You get space to put wards down and first mover's advantage, as it were. Be able to hit the side lanes first.
Let's take a look at summer spells though. It's going to be Akali with Flash spent in the top side. We already talked about how Xin Zhao can come for a revisit of that to just shut her down early so that she doesn't snowball that quickly.
Problem is at level 3, unless she uses her Twilight Shroud carelessly, it's going to be very hard to gank that lane.
That's true. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, I think Ahri is actually not going to be worth ganking because, well, Orianna's going to win that lane. She's going to push up anyway, so yeah, you want to get your Orianna hit, but I don't think ganking is going to be worth doing that. So honestly, Jarvan either shadowing top side or trying to look for something bot. There's honestly not much he can do this early game.
Like I said, it's a bit tricky when you have this particular bot lane duo of Varus and all this, because the damage isn't really there. The damage isn't really there, which is why I'm hard-pressed on Kai'Sa, because of the execution from the Plasma. It's actually pretty significant when you make ganks happen, but with Varus just wants to hit that power point. Varus just wants to be able to poke out and hit that power point where he's utility in team fights.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because if you're going to pick an early game jungler like Jarvan, you want to have him doing more impactful things on the map in the early game. When you pick the Varus, sure, like you said, you have to wait for the mid game before he truly comes online. And by that point, if the Jarvan isn't that far ahead, I don't think he's going to have much of an impact. Sure, you have Cataclysm, you have Flag and Drag, but other than CC, you won't be doing much damage. Is this the point where you go Cinderhawk?
I feel like you definitely do have to do Cinderhawk, even though you have Electrocute, like just for sustainability purposes. And when I say sustainability, I don't mean like keeping your health up. I mean keeping relevant. Because if you go for Warrior and you don't get kills, you just fall off very quickly.
Definitely, for sure. Meanwhile, that's going to be Infernal Drake first spawn. So you would think that Varus is going to have the first push, right?
Right.
So I guess that's one avenue where they can actually contest something else on the map. You know, try to get their Jarvan a little bit more relevant.
You can abuse the lane private that they have from Varus to get the Infernal Dragon, and this composition honestly does love Infernal Dragon because you have a Kali here, who for all intents and purposes will be going full damage, right? There's no reason for you to go and build like the Mordekaiser like you did last game, like full defensive stats and hope you do damage.
Yeah, but that's one thing, right? You have Akali, who's you don't really have a main tank,
right?
If you're on the side of Lannister right now, if you go late without an advantage, if you go even like you did last game, you're going to be at a significant disadvantage because, sure, you have damage, but there's also beefy frontliners on the other side.
Yeah.
You have Ornn and you have Braum. You're not going to be able to cut through them if you don't have your own frontliner to shield your backline.
Yeah, essentially without a tank, you can't really fight front to back.
Yeah. Now look for picks or more unconventional engages.
Back in the game. Okay, hopefully we resume soon.
Please.
It is game point right now in favor of Lannisters. They are one game ahead. Team WoW will have to equalize this, otherwise they will not be proceeding on to FSL Elite. So far, we have seen our Vietnamese qualifier champions. I think it is V Gaming that made it all the way through, so they will be proceeding on to FSL Elite in March. Right now we're looking for FSL Thailand's representative, and of course in 2 weeks after Chinese New Year we will be looking at FSL Philippines. I believe the qualifiers of that will be relatively interesting, and of which following that will be SGMYID.
Back on to these qualifiers though, I think you have to agree that both these teams are sort of like the creme de la creme of this region. I mean, with the double elimination format, I think, you know, the fact that both these teams have been head-to-head so close yesterday and today, I think it really speaks to, you know, the talent that's being generated out from Thailand to not only just fill one team, but two teams.
I think we split after split, season after season, FSL Thailand gets better and better. Just when I watch them, like how clean their play is and their understanding of how to play macro just gets better and better.
For sure. Right now, though, we're going to see who's going to win. Okay, I'm going to hold that.
Hook in, Braum taking a good deal of damage, but like I said, it's not sufficient to actually pose a threat, especially when you are Braum or not versus Nautilus Varus.
Yeah, the dynamic between these two teams, what I was trying to get at earlier, is that it's still macro versus micro, right? Lannister definitely have a big advantage with Kirsty in the mid lane and their macro abilities to really come out ahead in team fights, but we saw even in the previous game where they lost, WoW did an amazing job dragging Lannister across the map.
Yeah.
It just came down to really unfortunate circumstances and a great Mordekaiser ult where they suddenly lost the game.
I have to see if macro versus micro who comes out ahead right now. Gold is in favor of Lannisters just by the advantages in mid and top lane. The solo laners pulling away with CS leads. Bot lane is all about even here, so we're not too surprised there. Despite burning her flash early, actually, Akali has been doing a good job. Mew on the mid lane, a lot of damage down onto the Ahri already. She's getting zoned away heavily. We'll have to recall here, I believe. If she sticks around, they will want to force a gank from the Xin Zhao, but Kirsty is not really too afraid here.
Yeah, Kirsty walking up a bit too far.
Oh, walking out, getting caught. The 3 talent strike not in range, so Polikaton will not be able to knock Kirsty up. That's the face rush for you.
Yeah, and
able to walk away.
Looking back towards the top lane, that is a 20 CS advantage towards the Akali already at 6 minutes into the game, and that's forcing Ornn to use the teleport as well. Sure, Akali had to spend flash early as well as teleport back to lane, but that's sort of been equalized now thanks to Jarvan paying some attention to equalize the gank discrepancy previously.
Mid lane though, I feel like the story is just going to be the same thing. Kirsty's just going to bully out the Ahri and hold on, Roam's coming in level 6 on this Akali. Landing the Shuriken flip, this is important because now the execute might just come through. They're looking for the perfect execution. The second art is going to get the first blood across. And Adney, easy as he like, picks up the kill there, will find the advantage and make top lane a bit more easy for her.
Yeah, and that's the difference, right, from playing a tank and a carry. If you're playing a tank, that doesn't happen. But this time, Annie's on the Akali, is able to push the Ornn under turret with help from the jungler, is able to find quite the good roam and catches out the enemy jungler.
Now she alleviates pressure on the mid lane as well as jungle for her team. So in a single roam, Spubby gets more space to play around with, and so does Kirsty, and this makes things a lot easier here.
And keep in mind, Adney right now is going to do quite a bit more damage than you should be doing on Akali if you're going even with Ornn. So you would think that you have to stem this snowball, right?
Yeah.
If you're Xin Zhao, you want to pay a bit more attention towards this top lane, perhaps going in for another gank.
Looking for a gank here in the bot lane. The Dredge line is going to pull back the Braum, but that's not the target that they want. The Flag and Drag being used will knock the Braum up. Flash was used by Xayah to get to safety, and at the end of that, it is a flash used by Spubby as well to get in range. Meanwhile, topside, a lot of damage onto the Ornn Conqueror proc, available, ready to go, but Adney's just going to back off.
Alright, but that's Xin Zhao in the top side and full priority over bot. That looks like a dragon start. That looks like the best dragon start you're ever gonna get.
They forced them back away, and now they will get access to the Infernal Dragon. Kirsty just teleporting in as well for good measure. They will spot this dragon being started up, and the Flag and Drag across is gonna buy some space. Bubby is gonna fall here as the Shockwave pulls the Braum back in. Whether they want to continue this though is the question, because Polikaton is around. She can steal this if you get it low enough. No smite available, but she will take it. There you go. And finally, Polikaton will die. They get the Inferno, they lose the jungler. Might they lose another, though, is the question.
Yeah, the issue with all of that was, I'm not sure why they continue killing the dragon. They're going to pick up the kill on Ahri here, double kill over to the Orianna.
3-0-1, Orianna.
That's
with
pretty strong.
With the red buff, she was able to chase her down, and sure, you get the Inferno, but they'll find 3 kills there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The point I was trying to bring across is I'm not actually quite sure why they continue hitting the dragon. When you saw Polikaton walking down, and Jarvan was basically dead with no smite.
When you have no smite there, it's very easy for Xin Zhao to walk in and just claim the dragon for himself. Or herself, rather, in this case. Knocked up in the air. Has to be careful. Call of the Forge God coming in. She is going to get solo killed here because she did not respect the damage on the E coming in from Ornn. Now, I wonder if this is an E max Ornn, actually, because I've realized this has been... no, it's W max. Okay.
You got to keep in mind, though, again, Ornn with the E in this patch does actually quite a lot of damage, more than you would expect. So definitely not respecting the damage potential coming in from the Ornn is the Akali. Pays for it with her life.
If you're Akali right now, you just buy or at least rush for your Gunblade and sustain up and consistently trade over time, because you have Conqueror, right? The moment Conqueror is active, you proc it, rinse and repeat. You win long-term trades that way. No need to be greedy and go for the all-in, because it's not a guaranteed thing.
I mean, if you're playing Akali, you really want to get yourself ahead, especially when you're 1-0-0 over your lane opponent. So that was just a little unfortunate. Hopefully she tempers her aggression a little bit more here, but they're going for mid.
Dredge line being used to pull her back after the depth charge is popped, and the Shockwave is going to pull her into the center where the Dissonance takes her out. That is 4-0-1, Christie is on board like we were ever doubtful of her coming online.
Yeah, she's been playing against Orianna basically the entire day. This time she says, hey, give it to me. I'm going to show you how it's done. And now she's 4-0-1. She's fully unlocked. I think she's going to be, again, the main reason why they win team fights in the upcoming few minutes.
Yeah, if you're the other regions watching Lannisters in this play-in, you would be a little concerned because Christie seems to be your biggest threat.
She is definitely the biggest threat, especially in this game by far. Just continues to basically reign over the mid lane and allows the rest of the team to just, you know, run around the river wherever they want to.
And, you know, taking these short-term trades every time the Conqueror is available, she'll proc it, get the trade and walk out. Spubby has full access to this Rift Herald because top lane was pushed, mid lane of course has the advantage. We'll be able to get this. The question is where they're going to commit this, because we are talking about this and how Lannister plays around the Rift Herald as a team. Wherever they slam the Rift Herald down is where they want to commit their resources to, and where they look to force the snowball. In the past, it was bot lane. That was with the MF. I don't know if they can do the same thing.
Well, you were talking about earlier in the game, once you get the first tier turret, if you're Lannister, you just sort of unlock the Orianna, allow her to walk around the map. So I would think that placing down the Rift Herald around mid would be a good idea, especially since, hey, take a look, there's only 2 turret platings left on the mid lane. I think if you put down Rift Herald, that turret actually goes down.
Yeah, so they could possibly just slam the Rift Herald in the mid lane, open up the map, and make it that much more difficult for Ahri to roam around. Right now, she's just fishing for charms in the mid lane while Polikaton jumps over the wall to try and make this gank happen. They're sweeping out the wards in the brush to make sure that there's no vision whatsoever. But meanwhile, the ward is going to be thrown across. I don't know if they can clear it in time. Should be able to.
Yep, Jarvan is actually pathing up towards his bot side as well, so we might actually see some spicy fights in the bot lane.
Level 6 is available on both these bot laners. Who's going to pull the trigger first is the question. It looks like it's going to be the Braum that jumps forward. Here comes the Jarvan as well. Depth charge on the backline is going to hit the Xayah, but very low on health already is the Braum, and the execute coming in from the piercing arrow. Great stopwatch to deny the damage from the Blade Caller though. I'm not sure if they can take this fight because they've already gone down. Friend is looking for the Xayah here. Might just look for the Sinja on the back, but no, the Blade Caller takes him down, and the double kill goes the way of Polikaton.
That was a very, very massive fight, but I think there was a bit of miscommunication on the side of WoW. You could see that Polikaton was actually moving up the river already, just leaving the lane before Braum actually went in for the initiation. So not exactly sure why they weren't that coordinated for that bot lane gang, but overall they do manage to come out on top. Sinja's going to pick up a bit of gold here in exchange for 1 turret plating at mid.
Mid CS differential starting to build quite heavily. You can see Ahri is about 50 CS behind compared to Christie. And Spubby is still holding on to the Rift Herald. She could jam it mid if she wants to. She's actually walking over right now. Will not be spotted just yet, but the ward in the river, we'll see her as she turns the corner.
Now, I'm not exactly sure if it's a good practice to put down Rift Herald at mid right now, because you're just going to take like only a little bit of health off the turret before it gets killed. And oh, wow, that's a lot of damage.
Actually, a lot of damage, knocking her out of the Spirit Rush. So there's another charge available for Ahri to get back in. But, you know, like we said, she could just neglect to hold on to the Rift Herald and take the turret down by virtue of auto attacks.
Yeah, it looks like that's what she's doing. That's
Yo,
okay.
The damage from the Shockwave actually taking them very low. The charm is going to pull her back in, but the slamming the Rift Herald down, they say we want this mid-tier 1 regardless. It will eventually charge in though, and wow, that's a lot of health taken off the Rift Herald for very little damage on top of the turret.
I thought the reason that they were going to do that were because you chase the Sinja away, you basically have Ahri on 50% health, right? You take down the turret, you continue to siege to get perhaps another charge on the second turret, but I think they peel away from it because they saw that because they were unsure whether or not Sinja actually back.
But still, this gives them Mountain Dragon because the wave was pushed in. They had full prow in the bot lane as well. So the smite available for Spubby means that this is going to go the way of Lannisters. 2 dragons to start off, or excuse me, 1 dragon to start off the game. 1 Inferno on the side of Team WoW, the other Mountain Dragon on the side of Lannisters. And from here on out, it's all oceans.
Whew. All oceans indeed. Right. We are going to continue looking up towards the top and towards this top side, see whether or not Akali is going to be able to do anything against the Ornn. Ornn obviously already itemizing into MR, but that's a Hextech Gunblade. That's the first item break point coming in from Akali. Possibly one avenue where she can look to increase her advantage is by shoving the Ornn under turret and looking for rooms elsewhere.
Yeah, they could look to make something happen in the bot lane with the teleport available. So maybe shoving the Ornn in and teleporting might not be a bad option. But still, look at the damage on Diglett. Here comes Bubby though for the gang. Chains of Corruption is gonna hold up Braum. Here comes the Glacial Fusion to PU back, but the Piercing Arrow actually doing a lot of damage. Now very low on health is the Nollas, but the Goomba Stomp from Swubby is gonna give the kill over to the jungler. Immediately eviscerating and stomping the chances of this bot lane defense.
Not exactly sure what Xin Zhao was doing. On the minimap was actually just AFK in the river for a while, but
hold on.
going in again.
All of the Forest God. Christie's up here actually. Might just find a kill with the perfect execution. The second cast actually not in range to get there. You have to think that there was a small misplay by following up with the flash, but they're still looking for a little bit more. They might be able to find top tier 1 here.
Yeah, the fact that Kirsty had Ahri pushed in quite deep in the mid lane allowed her to continue to look for these roams that you don't normally get on the Orianna. Now, Atney has free reign basically over this turret. No turret plating, so it's significantly squishier. Actually might even be able to just take it. Not sure if this minion wave will hold though.
Like we were saying, you know, when you take down mid tier 1, it opens up the map and suddenly you don't have to worry about roaming out of lane all too much. The dangers of roaming out of lane, because now when you walk out, you know you have complete vision of the R, you have complete vision of the Xin Zhao. No concern whatsoever if you have to walk up to the top lane through their jungle.
Yeah, that's going to be a decent chunk taken from the top turret. Was actually about full health before this, so that really allows for that top lane turret to become something that Lannister could contest later on.
Oh, this is a problem, having to flag and drag out. The charm was not used yet though, but finally catching the Jarvan on the return. Shockwave is going to pull the Ahri back in, and that's a lot of damage. Everyone else is arriving. They might find the first kill on the Ahri though. Turning on to the back, Xin Zhao is extremely low. Pelicaton is the next to fall and backing away now. No Shockwave just yet. They're still chasing in. Command Dissonance. Bubby very low but jumping in because they want the space to get the depth charge. And I think they might just be able to find the ace here as they're racing in. Christie with the phase rush as well as the red buff might be able to get the kill if she flashes in. And there you go, the double kill. The ace. Lannisters coming online in the second game in a more explosive fashion. 17 minutes in.
And I think you hit the nail right on the head. They're coming online so much quicker, and they're looking for fights so much earlier on in the game. They're not even allowing WoW any chance to maneuver macro-wise. So I think that's the adaptation that they've come into this game with. They know, hey, WoW wants to do macro, so we're just not going to allow them to do it. We're going to force these fights early on. We're going to drag them across the map, and we're not going to give them any inch at all.
Down to 7k is the Rift Herald, and this should be claimed by Swubby right here with the flag and drag to pop the eye on the back. And like we say, advantages into advantages. She used the first one, although not the most efficiently, to open up mid-tier 1. It allows them more map control. Right now, the second Rift Herald picked up at 17.5 minutes. Can be used to open the bot lane, can be used to open the top lane. Oh, hold on, a lot of damage. Shockwave, the charm. I don't know if it's enough because the phase rush gives her enough speed to get in there. This GLP Orianna is just nasty.
051 are you either tilted? I mean, I know you're tilted, but you cannot look for, you know, face checks like that into bushes that you have no vision in.
Lane assignments coming through. It's going to be Adney that's holding the bottom lane, and Swubby's actually walking in to lend some assistance. Remember that perfect execution is available. If they force this gank with the Cataclysm, they should be able to clean up. Can't be too overeager here. The bot laners of Team WoW might just get caught out. There you go, Gunblade on top. The Shuriken flip as well. The perfect execution coming through is more than enough to pick them up. Featherstorm had no impact there whatsoever, and now they're looking for the second. Give it over to the top laner, one apiece. That's how the partnership works out, and Swubby can jam the Rift Herald here as well.
And when you're this far ahead, this is... We're actually not going to put on Rift Herald, but when you're this far ahead, a Rift Herald is actually going to do a lot, right? The first one, like you said, not the most optimal, but this Rift Herald is actually going to do quite a bit. Might actually got the second charge down because nobody's coming down to answer it. Akali right now is going to pick up the first turret. That's all 3 tier 1 turrets gone for the side of WoW. And Lannisters, they have free reign over this river.
They have free reign over river, they have free reign over dragon, they have free reign over bot tier 2 if the Rift Herald gets the second charge. And as the movement on the map dictates, it's going to be 3 members that have to commit to the bot lane to clear this out. Kirsty though is still looking. She's looking for the Shockwave. You have to think that one is just a bit overeager.
That's a bit BM.
Yeah.
Like she had, if that connected, Ahri would just be dead.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's fine.
At this point, you might as well just go fishing. Yeah, at this point, dragons are free. Honestly, if they want to go for the Baron and they have ample setup, that should be free as well. While they honestly are just not in the position to contest anything at this
you
point.
turtle up this point. You just turtle up and hope that Xayah gets to a point where you can actually output damage. Forget Ahri. Ahri's done. Like, 0, 5, and 1, you don't even have Ludens at this point. You're just a glorified wave clear machine, right? So your chances of assassinating anyone is little to none.
Yeah, time to put all your eggs in the Xin Zhao Xayah basket, as it were. There's not much. It's still gonna take quite a long time for this.
It's a
Xayah to get
flimsy
online,
basket. I'm gonna be honest. It's a flimsy basket. It's
Yeah,
like
well,
made out of cardboard and paper.
They're not 100% out of it yet. That's what I'm trying to say. There's still ways to get back into this game, but it sort of does involve Lannister making a few decision errors, which I don't see happening all that often. But yeah, still not out of it yet.
Ooh.
Okay then.
There you go, GLP on top of the Ahri, but they managed to find the CC on top of Christie though. Crescent Sweep will buy some space, but here comes this Jarvan the 4th with the Cataclysm. Holy Katana, Audacious charging away to the lane minion. Meanwhile on the top side, very low on health already. Braum getting taken out. The Blade Caller will keep them in place, and Friend can't really find the execute damage on the piercing arrow to get the kill.
Honestly, I think Orianna could have played that better. Instead of trying to ult the 051 Ahri, could have actually focused in on the Xin Zhao. But instead, they both walk out alive. But they do have the back. So this gives Lannister much more map pressure over the mid lane.
Now look at the mini-map. The bot lane is actually shoved in quite heavily, so this implies that topside control will go the way of Lannisters, right? And with that, they can clear the wards out. They can look to start a Baron. There is a control ward there which will signal that Baron has been started up, but because this is a Varus with Blade of the Ring King and Guinsoo's, you take this very quickly. All you need is the Akali to zone them away with perfect execution, and you have a lot of space to finish this one off. That's not to say it's super dangerous though, because Call of the Forge God could do a lot of work, but it's not up right now.
Yeah, Distraction top laner is not actually going to be doing too much. This is... Oh, okay, well...
Doesn't matter, here comes the Akali, cleans up the fight, the Shockwave starts things off, and they pick up 2 already. It's a double for the Akali with the Shuriken Flip. She might just be looking for the 3rd on top of this fight. Nope, Friend is going to take the kill by herself. Swabi falling very low, but like I said, there's no damage for the Ahri, so there's no possibility of an assassination coming through. A max range dredge line, don't know how they hit, don't know how you're going to get out, because that's 4 kills in the Baron. Lannisters, they're feeling pretty comfortable, they're feeling themselves, and they might look to barrel in onto the base here.
They're feeling extremely comfortable. You don't go for those sorts of ability tosses if you're not feeling very, very confident with yourself. That Shockwave caught out 4, no chance of a Baron steal. They're just gonna escort these minions into the base, gonna pick up Inhibitor. And honestly, this game is about 90% done at this point.
Shockwave is gonna be up in a couple of seconds, so you can see why Christie's sticking around. They're fishing for another fight.
Look at the damage, yo.
She is not afraid whatsoever. She has GLP, she's looking for the Shockwave play. As long as there are 3 members of Lannisters around, she might still want to commit for this.
She's overextending a little bit here, though.
She
this is a bit of overconfidence, perhaps.
All of the Forge God. Oh man, their Shockwave whiffed. And at least there is the chance of corruption to peel back, but Christie is dead as dead can be now. Coming in at lead, looking for a bit more. Depth Charge is going to knock the Braum up. Featherstorm is going to buy them some space, but they're looking for the cleanup here. I don't think they can really do anything. Coming in for the Goomba Storm, actually a lot of damage on their front line there. They managed to get a triple kill. The Varus is going to die, but 2 members get the ace. They have the Baron buff. They could walk this in.
The only reason why they won that is because they're about 12 gold.
I feel like if this is an even fight, you just like, that's borderline inting, right? So it's fine. You guys are far ahead. You could probably look to clean the game out here. No issues.
Yeah, that was definitely a misplay coming from Lannister, showing a bit too much overconfidence in that play. But otherwise, throughout the entire game, I think we can say that they played just about flawlessly.
I'll give it to them, you know? You're 12k a hit. You can have a little bit of fun. It's fine.
Right.
Even though they threw the Baron. That part annoys me a little bit. They threw Baron on 3 people, right? So that part annoys me. But they can still walk it in.
That was a little spicy. Not gonna lie. Hopefully we don't see too much more of that.
Dragon's gonna be up in less than 40 seconds, so they can take that if they are in position to do so. Although Jarvan now with this Black Cleaver build will be able to solo out the Dragon if she needs to. Swabi on Jarvan has been a night and day difference compared to Poppy. Yeah, I'll be honest.
Well, it's Poppy with Omnistone, so I guess, you know.
I thought your Omnistone was trolling, dude.
Well. At
7 seconds on the objective. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year.
And there you go. Ocean is up. We'll be able to secure that without any issues, and they will be able to walk it in as well.
Oh man, Christie.
Buddy. Shockwave, instant kill. No ADC. It's cool. We'll walk it in.
And that's your
Oh, the BM Magi's. They bought the Magi's.
oh no. Oh, this game is 100% dead.
Flashing for the depth charge. Call of the Forge God being used to disengage. It's a support that you used all these ultimates on, and if you can't get the kill on Nautilus, it might just be game over. Nautilus still alive, still up, but finally will go down. Meanwhile, Ornn is the focus and the target. The Crescent Sweep knocking Jarvan back, using the Shuriken Flip as well as the perfect execution to get into this. They're looking for the kills here. Oh, actually getting knocked back, so there is no perfect execution there. Great charm from the Ahri. Small mechanical plays find themselves a bit of breathing room, but at the end of it, they're just going to walk it in if the carry's alive. Orianna is alive, Varus is alive, the Shockwave going to be up very soon. But instead, no more hubris, they play it safe.
Yeah, they play it safe indeed. I'm honestly not sure if they're playing it safe at this point or they're just padding the KDA. But yeah, I guess you're just having fun at this point. Honestly, if you're WoW right now, you have 0 damage on any of your champions, really. Maybe except for the Xin Zhao, but...
Xayah has damage. It's
Xayah,
just that she dies so quickly.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, if you use Featherstorm to dodge away from the depth charge, cool.
Yeah.
But Jarvan's just going to EQ the backline, Goober Stomp you with the Cataclysm. If you're still alive, it's Command Shockwave to finish you off.
Right, we're approaching about, what's that, 13, 14k in the gold deficit for a while. Honestly, I don't know what to say because there's not really any way of them clawing it back unless Lannister make like, what, 3 huge mistakes in a row.
Yeah, we're reaching calling it early territory right now, 26 minutes in.
I think we're calling it late if we call it now, but yeah. It will really have to come down to Lannister's overconfidence, and that is not a position that you'd like to be.
Overconfidence might just be what happens here as the Shockwave comes through. Will catch 2 members. Very low on health is Bubby, and they managed to isolate Christie. She has no stopwatch, has no Zhonya's, so it might be very tricky. They will find a kill on Polycaton first, and then the Braum soon after, and the third one to go down will be the Ornn. Oh man, Adley, you are a monster here, just cleaning up the kills. Now Adley jumping into the base with the Shuriken Flip. They find 4. She's looking for the 5th. Flashing in, landing the slow on the tip of the 5-point strike. Does not have perfect execution just yet, so she will not be able to clean this up. She's taunting her. She's like, I can leap it if you want me to.
Again, you don't win that fight unless you're 13k gold ahead. So they're only just having fun. Overconfidence doesn't even seem to matter at this point. They're just gonna clean up, pick up the Nexus, and
finish the series off.
Yeah, finish the series off, lock their way to Singapore for FSL Elite.
Yeah, we will see you in Singapore, Lannisters, on the 8th and 9th, or excuse me, rather 7th and 8th of March at the FSL Elite Tournament, because they are your Thai representatives for the 2nd time in the history of FSL. Lannisters make a statement.
Absolutely. That last game was absolutely a statement. The first 2 games that they played against WoW was, so close. But this time they come in with the adaptation, early aggression, a carry top laner, and they absolutely just clean house.
You have to think, if you are a competing team watching them, you're just a bit nervous. You're taking notes. You're like, okay, what do we have to worry about? Because Kirsty by herself is a force of nature. And then you have to factor in things like Annie, popping off on Akali, the bot lane just being very reliable, very safe. And Spubby on Jarvan, don't get me wrong, her Poppy leaves some things to be desired, but her Jarvan is on point, and these are the things you have to consider when you're facing up against them. Look at the damage coming from the Orianna, Jesus.
And the thing is, you can't ban them out. This top laner, this mid laner, they have so many champions that they can play to that high level that who do you ban?
Yeah, who do you ban indeed? And that is an extreme concern. But for now, we're going to wrap up the FSL Thailand qualifiers. It's been a great 2 days here. I feel like this particular qualifier showcased a lot of the talent from the local pool. We're happy to watch more and look at this season as it develops. But for now, before we go off, we do have to shout out our sponsors. Dreamcore, Super Solid, Yahoo TV for hosting us, as well as Aftershock. All these guys are awesome for making things happen. And FSL, at the end of the day, despite the international status that we've got, the regional Southeast Asian status that we've got, it's still a community tournament hosted and dedicated to getting new talent in, to getting competitive experience for the ladies playing in the FSL or female esports league as it is. And we're so happy that it's been pushing forward. Do you have any socials you want to shout out? Or
your Twitter, my Twitter. I don't know
so you can follow us on Twitter. Mine is literally this, so you can just follow us on Twitter here. I think
mine is Spoots plus LOL.
Plus an LOL at the back, so that's his. And on behalf of our production team, our observer, and all the guys that made this happen, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you actually in 2 weeks. Next week is Chinese New Year, so we're going to take a break, of course, collect some ampaos. But in 2 weeks, we will see you for the FSL Philippines qualifiers. Stay tuned to the FSL League of Legends page. We have all the information there. We'll be putting all the posts, all the announcements, all the videos, and of course, all the information will be there. But for now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye. We'll see you in 2 weeks.